Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5. Welcome into the KSL Sports Zone. Well, I come to you today with mixed news. There is good news, there's bad news. I suppose it depends on which team or teams you root for and who you're pulling for. Might as well get the bad news out of the way right away. The college football rankings are out, and I think it will surprise you not at all to find out that the Utes and Cougars are on the outside looking in. I just don't think it's a good time to be in any place other than the SEC. The logic doesn't get me. I can't explain it. I think it's flawed. I think BYU's got better wins than teams are in. I think teams that are in have worse losses. It seems to be that the priority changes from one thing to another based purely on hey, which team are we trying to protect. I don't get why Miami is behind Notre Dame. That doesn't make any sense to me. Miami won head-to-head. I guess games at the start of the year just don't matter. It doesn't matter if you lose to a good team, Texas at Ohio State, obviously. Doesn't matter if you lose to a bad team, Alabama, Florida State. It doesn't matter if two good teams play and Notre Dame loses. Notre Dame's good to go. It just, for the life of me, whatever. This is completely jacked up. What are you going to do? I think if BYU wants to get in the tournament, they need to beat Texas Tech. And I do think Tech's in a good enough spot that they'll stay in. They'll drop right now. It looks like they could get a first round bye. And the second round, the quarterfinals will be played at neutral sites this year in bowl games. So Tech is set up. Now, if Tech were to lose, I think they would probably end up somewhere between 5 and 8, and I think that they would probably then host a first-round playoff game. And to be clear, if you're 5 or 6, you ought to be heavily favored. Whoever the ACC champ is, or maybe Duke wins, and then the ACC doesn't get a team in because North Texas is higher ranked and the American champ is higher ranked. Tulane would be much higher ranked. So we'll have to see how all of that plays out. The Utes dropped to 15. They've dropped 2 weeks in a row despite the fact they've won because they haven't won by a lot. So nobody else gets dropped for close wins, but the Utes are getting dropped for close wins. So, all right, have at it. What was really disappointing they couldn't control is that these top teams have just been crushing it. There just haven't been upsets. Lower ranked teams or unranked teams, lesser opponents haven't been able to really pull upsets, except in the ACC. But most of those teams were below Utah and BYU, so it didn't really help when they lost. They didn't get to move up that much. So that's the bad news for Utah and BYU. More bad news for Utah. The Utah basketball team lost to Cal 79-72. So the Utes are 6-3 after that game. And then the good news for BYU is that they get to keep Kalani Sitake. There were some crazy scenarios being floated out there if Kalani went to Penn State. And by all accounts, he came very close to going to Penn State. By all accounts, BYU came swooping in right at the end and held on to him. How much is he getting? That's a loaded question. We don't know bonuses, so we don't really know. And I'm telling you, these guys get bonuses for everything. They get bonus for graduation rates. They get a different bonus for GPA. There's another bonus usually if you're bowl eligible. Another bonus for, every win over 9. Bonus if you play in a conference title game. Bonus if you win the conference title game. A bonus if you play in the bowl game. A bonus if you go to the playoff. These coaches have all kinds of things written into the contract. Not everybody has every one of those bonuses, but most of the coaches have most of those bonuses. But nonetheless, the numbers have been thrown around as that Kalani had $11 million to go to Penn State and $9 million to stay at BYU. And by all accounts, as you'll hear in the press conference coming up, he stayed, but it wasn't just his compensation. It was compensation for the whole staff. They didn't really detail, is that raises for existing? Is that adding new staff members? Is that both? My assumption is it's both, but they didn't really want to dive into that. And somewhere between $10 and $15 million worth of NIL money on top of the house money they're already giving out, which is, most of the $20 million. Some money will go to men's basketball and some may go to some other sports, but mostly it's going to football. Wild, wild times. Big, big money. But that's the game, And I mean, I know they had another press conference a few years ago with Tom Homo and Kalani. This is unprecedented. Yeah, but what was unprecedented then is not enough now. Because this thing's just escalating. It's just incredible how much money is getting poured into college sports. It's unreal. It's unprecedented. So coming up, you're going to hear the press conferences. Kalani, along with the athletic director and the head football coach sitting up there side by side, Brian Santiago with him. But coming up next, you're going to hear from a couple of players, a couple of veterans. Tanner Wall representing the defensive side of the ball. And Chase, didn't get to ask him about his hamstring. But, the leading wide receiver there representing the offensive side of the ball. All right, DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We'll get to that next. Stay with us. Chase Roberts, Tanner Wall on the way right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. A reminder, experience holiday lights at the ballpark at America First Square. Dazzling displays, music, and family fun now through January 3rd. Get your tickets at the ballpark at afs.com. All right, Kalani Sitake is staying at BYU. He's got a deal. He's making more money. His staff is making more money. His staff may get bigger. There'll be more NIL money. Will they spend that on depth? Will they spend that to get a few impact players at key positions or to retain impact players at key positions? All to be determined. But everybody's super excited at BYU. It was part press conference. It was part pep rally. Chase Roberts, Tanner Wall, meeting with the media. Here they are.
Chase, how's it feel to have the head coach secured? He's going to be here for the long term.
That's such a peaceful feeling. I honestly was, if he left, I would have been super sad. I would have probably cried in my bed. And I'm not even coming back for the next year. So that shows the character of Kalani and how much we care about this program and just knowing what he's done in the past and what we've been able to build the past few years and the years that we've been here. Like, to have that kind of taken away and to start new would be really, really hard. So knowing that it's going to carry on and his culture and what he challenges us to do and what we strive to do as players, it's not just about football, but it's so much more. And Kalani's focus when we go into meetings, it's becoming like our Savior Jesus Christ. And players want to play for a guy like that. And they want to become something, and they want to win games. And that's how you do it, is follow a guy like Kalani. And that's what we've seen the past 2 years as we've gone 22-3. So
for both of you guys, what has it been like to be led by Kalani throughout your careers? And what's your pitch to the future players that are evaluating BYU as their next home?
I mean, I think, quite honestly, it's changed the trajectory of our lives. Like, he's impacted us as football players, but he's a leader of men, and I think that's why he is the perfect man for the job, is the kind of people that he's developing, right? 18-year-old kids come in the door and they leave, whether they're going to the NFL or out into, to work a traditional career, and they've been impacted for good by Kalani and his leadership because of the Christ-like leader that he is. And, for us, Chase and I, who've, been lucky enough to play for him, this is our fifth season now, our fifth year playing under Kalani, he's significantly impacted who we are as people, as leaders, as sons, as brothers. Any label you could find for our life, he's had a touch point on that. And this is the kind of man that anyone would want to go to war with. And as Chase already touched on, some of the underclassmen, in conversations with us are probably like, why do you guys care so bad? Like, you're not even, like, he won't coach you again. It's like, no, but you don't understand how he's impacted us and impacted this place and how much it means to keep him here.
Tanner, does Kalani represent BYU or not just BYU football in a lot of ways? It kind of sounds like you're saying?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he embodies exactly what our university strives to be and strives to represent, and he's perfectly aligned with that in all that he does. And for some people, they might mistake that for things that aren't true, right? People think preaching love and learn is weak in football, and that's not the case, right? We've seen clearly it must be working in the success that we're having on the field, and in the way that we're impacting the communities near and far, it's working. So just trust exactly what he's doing and know that it's having an amazing impact.
Chase, you guys preparing to take on Texas Tech, how important was it for the team for this to happen before you guys take that field and continue your preparation?
I think it's been huge to be able to obviously get rid of a distraction. But honestly, we've known Kalani and his love for us. Whatever happened, we were going to go out and play for him. We were going to go out and win a game. We've put in too much this season to let anything take away from what we want to accomplish on Saturday. And having this opportunity, it's one of the biggest games in BYU history. We understand that. And we're going to go out and we're going to play for BYU and the fans and our loved ones, and for Kalani and all the coaches and our players and brothers that we've gone through blood, sweat, and tears with the past year and 2 years, 3 years, however long we've been here. Like, this is a moment that we pray for, that we dream of, that we go into meetings manifesting every single time. So it was going to be the same either way. It's nice to get a little distraction away from the fans and everything that's happening. But as players, we've bought in already, and we knew what we were going to do and want to accomplish, and we were going to go win this game.
Can you take us through the moment when you guys found out what that was like? A little bit of videos kind of leaked out there, but what was it like for you guys?
Yeah. Just at the end of practice today in the IPF, Kalani brought it up and, just let us know that he was here. He's going to be our coach. He's staying. And, we immediately just surrounded him, hugged him, celebrating. They were throwing water everywhere, just – if you watch the cut, imagine what it is like in the locker room. Pretty similar vibe, and just those pure and true emotions from our team. We love this man. We love playing for him, and that news was huge for us. And I think the large majority of us anticipated that and expected that, knowing his commitment to us and to the school. So, but that was a special moment.
Chase, after the Texas Tech game, you essentially said, we're going to see these guys again. Some people thought it was over the top, I guess is the correct term to use. Does it feel like you manifested this in a way?
No, yeah, I knew we were going to do it. I promised you guys, so I fulfilled it. My promise to Cougar Nation that we were going to meet him again in the Big 12 Championship. I had full confidence. I know our head coach did too. And I can always count on, if he says it, then I can say it too. So because I trust him and I love him. So I'm gonna say things that I truly believe, and then we're gonna go out and then follow it up, and we're here, and it's exciting to be able to have this opportunity. I know the impact that this can have on BYU and the fans and the people having an opportunity to go to the playoff, and we all understand that, and we're gonna go leave our hearts out on the field for all of you guys.
Chase, maybe outside the program, a lot of people expected you guys to be at this point at the end of the season, when the season started, breaking in the true freshman quarterback and all that. Having reached this point, does it feel satisfying what you guys overcame to get to this point?
Yeah, it's been amazing. Like I said, our head coach knew that we were going to be in this position, so I think it bled into our team. So we were super surprised that we're at this point and that we're in the Big 12 Championship. We're just ready. We're ready to go. We've been talking about it since day one, even with the freshman quarterback standing there, not knowing what's going to happen. But we were manifesting it, and I felt it the moment I arrived here at BYU 5 years ago, that my senior year, when I was about to leave, we were going to be at a point, especially when we entered the Big 12, where we're one of the top teams in the nation, and that we're going to be a powerhouse for a while. And I remember a recruiting visit where the players were able to speak to the parents, and that's exactly what we were saying. Just wait. It's going to happen. And we're going to be one of those teams that drives college football. And I felt it, and I knew that as long as we have Kalani, behind that we're going to have seasons like these past 2 seasons every single year going forward.
What do you think why do you think the outcome might be different this time than it was the first time you played?
You said why? Why would it be different? Just in talking from a defensive perspective on our defensive staff, a lot of those coaches have had rematch games in their careers, and the way that we're preparing for this game, and the mindset that we're taking with us down to Arlington, we're expecting to go in there and play our best ball. And I just think from our perspective, we want it a lot more. Like, this means so much to us and to our coaches and to our program and to our fans. And so we're going to go out there and execute. And we got a lot of belief and trust in all of our guys and know that we're going to play our best.
Yeah, I think, like, looking at the film, honestly, and the mistakes that we made, they're so fixable. We're able to fix those this week, and we're very confident, as an offense at least. I know the defense is the same. They're in the film room every day doing their thing, but we've seen a lot of things that have brought a lot of confidence. And obviously we need to execute, but there was a lot of dumb things and mistakes that we made as an offense. Guys were banged up. Kids were coming back from injury. And I feel like right now we have the confidence in all of our guys, the scheme, to go execute and to go score a lot of points.
All right, there are BYU players reacting to the news that Kalani Sitake is staying. They're all really happy, and I think they're all much savvier, much more wise the ways of the world than they were certainly when I was that age, but even 10 or 20 years ago. And they realized that, yeah, that was a bit of a distraction, a bit of drama here over the last 24, 48 hours, 72 maybe, but it's worth it because it ends up with more NIL money. So they get how the world works. They get how the world works, and it's wrapped up on Tuesday, so that's not an excuse if anything goes wrong on Saturday, I wouldn't think. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Kalani Sitake and the athletic director, Brian Santiago. That's next. Stay with us right here on The Zone. Good morning, DJ and PK. It's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Welcome in. Well, the big news of the day, BYU's 11 in the college football rankings, and Utah's 15. The Utah basketball team lost to Cal last night. But all that stuff pales in comparison to the news that Kalani Sitake is going to stay at BYU. He has decided to turn down Penn State. Reports that was somewhere in the neighborhood of $11 million a year, and this is somewhere in the million of $9 million to stay. Either way, that's a lot of money, but he played at BYU. He's worked most of his, not all, but most of his professional career in Utah. He did go to Oregon State for a year. He did do JC work at Eastern Arizona at the start of his career when he was still, when they were still playing JC football, obviously, in Arizona. That's all come to a screeching halt. But Kalani's going to stay at BYU. And, you know, they talked about long-term and all that. But, man, this college football is crazy. Who knows what's going to happen 2, 3, 4 years down the line. But for the moment, it felt good. And they're 11-1. They're on a roll. They're 22-3 over the last 2 years. So they are flying. So why break that up? Ride that out as far as you can. And largely keep the staff together, it looks like. You never really know, but that's what it looks like right now. We'll see what the coaching carousel brings. You never know. So there's a press conference, and it's Brian Santiago, the athletic director, and it's Kalani Sitake, who was emotional multiple times during this, choked up a little bit. Here they are on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is a great day. This is a great day for BYU and BYU football. My name is Brian Santiago. I'm the director of athletics, and super grateful to be here with all of you. We're grateful that you'd take the time to be here and to cover this. We're going to start today. Keith Vorkink, the advancement vice president, is going to read a statement from the president of our university, C. Shane Reese. Keith.
Thank you, Brian. I'm also super happy to be here. It's a great day for Brigham Young University. President Reese is traveling. He invited me to read this statement. In many ways, Kalani Sitake is a public face of Brigham Young University. He leads our most prominent athletic team, and you couldn't ask for a better exemplar of the Christ-centered values for which this university stands. In saying that, I also communicate the great trust and confidence of BYU's Board of Trustees that they have in Kalani Sitake's unwavering commitment to BYU's mission, which helps to build student athletes who learn by studying and by faith. Someone recently said that BYU wants to win, but BYU wants to win as a family. Kalani is family, and we couldn't be more pleased that he'll be staying at BYU for all the right reasons, and leading our football program into the Big 12 championship this week. And I'll just second President's words. We're so excited for all that Kalani represents and for the future of him leading our football program.
This, as I mentioned, is a pretty exciting day. And we're really excited to announce that Kalani Sitake is going to be BYU's football coach long into the future. We, as an athletic department and university, are making a significant investment to make sure that we have a football program that is set up and prepared to have success for the future. One of the things that's been most impressive in this process is what Kalani really is all about. This is a great football coach, but this is one of the great people on planet Earth. He's committed to everything that's good. He's committed to not only running a first-class football program, he's so committed to his staff, everyone in the building. He cares about every single person that is part of this program. And maybe most importantly, he's all in for these players. There weren't very many times in this process that he was talking about himself, talking about his own compensation. He was talking about, I want to take care of all the people around me. And that's what tells you a lot about Kalani Sitake. The other part of this that's pretty awesome is Kalani is in this with his family. Not only Timberly, his amazing wife and his children, but his dad. And Pops is right back there. He's a big part of this program too. And we're grateful to you, Pops. Grateful to you for your commitment, not only to this program, but for raising such a great man in Kalani. I just want to add too, when you get in the trenches of college athletics, you want to do it every day with people that you love and that you can actually have a great time with. And I'm most excited about walking the path with Kalani and continuing to see him build men that aren't only going to do incredible things on the football field, but he's preparing these young men to go and change the world. And the culture that he's built here is second to none. And we're not just investing in a football program. We're investing in Kalani Sitake. I'm grateful to be here and sit next to him as the athletic director, but more importantly as a friend and a confidant. Let's go.
Thank you, Keith. Kind words from President. First of all, I just want to express my gratitude to our President, President Reese, and our Vice President, Keith Warkink, and then also our Athletic Director, Brian Santiago, and their leadership. And just doing this, I mean, if I'm being honest, I just wanted to be here long. You know, that's what it's all about. I've had amazing mentors along the way, including Lavelle Edwards and Kyle Whittingham, who like sticking where they're at, and I appreciate all their examples to me. And so this is a place that I want to be for the long run. And luckily, I grew up cheering for this team, and I played here too. So it helps to play for the legend Lavelle Edwards. I also want to show my gratitude and appreciation to the leadership of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints for allowing us to be a great partner in the Big 12, but also to function well as a program. And the goal here was for me not only to be here for a long time, but also to take care of my coaching staff and my support staff. And this allows us to do that, and also to take care of our players. So there's a strong commitment from the university to do those things, and that speaks to my heart. And so that was easy for me to agree to do that if they took care of my people, like Brian said. And then I want to express my love to my family. Pops, and all my family. I mean, I got tons of cousins, you guys know. Even some that claim me that we're not blood related, but it's okay. But thankful to all my family. I've been raised by a village, and I hope I can make them proud. And so, with that, also want to express my love and appreciation to my best mentor. That's my wife, Timberly, and my 4 children, Sky, Sadie, KK, Kalani Jr. we call him too, and then our baby girl Sylvia. So they've been amazing throughout the whole process, and they're the best supporters for us, and I appreciate them. Also want to tell the players how much I love them. They're amazing, and they make my job so enjoyable, and I love being around them. And being their coach has made me a better person the last 10 years, and I got a lot more improvement to make. So I plan to be around for a while to get better. But I'm so proud and honored to be their coach, and I'm honored that I get to learn from such wonderful young men. And then and finally, I just want to. I mean, goes to everybody. Just thankful for everyone here at the university. I've had amazing support from everyone involved. I mean, I have amazing mentors all over the place, championship coaches, and championship people in the support staff and administration. They've been awesome, and so it's easy to, when you just sit around, if you just listen to people around you, they can influence you and make you a better person. And so thank you to everyone here and everyone involved in the media. I know I like to hang out with you guys and talk about how I wish I had a goatee to cover up my double chin, stuff like that. So thank you for laughing at all my jokes and humoring me. So I enjoy all my relationships with everybody. I'm a people person, so I like to hang out with people and get to know them. And so finally, I just want to express my love to all the fans. My wife said that the last day or so was probably one of her favorites, and my family, and she called it a love bomb from all the fans. And it's hard to leave when you have something so special, and you have amazing people that support us. And so I'm just grateful that I get to be around the amazing fans, and to make things easier, we'll just quit all the drama, and I'm here, that way people don't have to stop in the middle of the road. It's not safe, and roll the windows down and yell at me to stay. There's a student that sat out here by my parking spot with a sign, and I asked him how long he was waiting there, and he said a couple hours. He had no idea when I was going to be there, and gave him a hug and took a picture of him. But the fans all over the place. It's super special when social media can be toxic and dangerous sometimes, and so negative. So thank you for making it a loving place where my children can feel proud of their dad, and I can just be really proud of the friends that I got to make and the memories. And so those are things that we get to hang on to forever. And so I still have a goal of hugging every fan, every BYU fan. I got close in the last 10 years, but I feel like there's going to be more. So anyways, I want to get back to the game and the focus on the game. That's the goal here. I think that we can. I'm a low maintenance guy, so as you can see, I just came from practice, so this is what I wear. It's all free, and so I just plan on just to get the focus back on the boys, back on us playing Texas Tech, and this amazing conference with the Big 12 with a great commissioner like Brett Yormark, and looking forward to the matchup against Texas Tech this weekend. And let's have more fun with that, and we can just I can answer the questions from you guys, but we can just move on and know that this is settled and get back to the game. So love you guys. Go Cougs. Appreciate it.
How hard was it to make this decision?
I just really never. I mean, I've been here a while, and for 10 years I've had a lot of people that have been interested in talking, and I think that a lot of them have been aggressive, and it's one of those moments where you kind of, for me, it's like I never really thought about leaving ever, but I'm also a competitor, and I want to be able to take care of people, and this is just one of those moments where I felt like us being in the Big 12, if we can make the right moves, and I don't really need to do this anywhere else. I can do it here, and I feel like we've got some great momentum, and I want to keep focused on the culture, but really, really tough, but not really that tough either, So I think for me it was, I don't know, after people start talking about it, it was, I talked about the love bomb. It was this amazing feeling of appreciation from everybody. I don't know how you can leave that, man. I just don't know how you can walk away from it, and it's not really about the money, but there is an opportunity for me to take care of my players and my staff, and that make sure that we're all headed the right direction of what we want to accomplish. It's our third year in the Big 12. I feel like we've made some really cool moves, and we're in a place now that we've never been before, but I think we can really accomplish a lot of things, especially with Brian Santiago as our AD. We can be aggressive and get after some things and be the best we can, not just on the field, but also off the field. So, yeah, I don't know if I can answer that right by saying it was rough, but also easy.
Brian, you mentioned that this was a deeper investment from the athletic department in the football program. What are some of the particulars of that deeper investment?
Well, the investment in, first and foremost, our head coach. You want to make sure that your head coach feels valued. But like I mentioned before, Kalani's totally committed to building a program that is not only championship driven, but to do it the BYU way. So his focus was making sure that we made an investment in his coaching staff, make an investment in the players to make sure that we give him the resources he needs, but he wants it spread over the whole program. And if you're going to chase greatness and do it in a unique way, you have to be invested all the way, because one of the things that we're committed to is that we're climbing the mountain. We're chasing greatness. We're doing it the BYU way, and if we're going to sustain it, we're interested in the long game and the long-term sustainability of our program. We're not just trying to win a few games for now. Last I checked, and I've said this a few times, a lot of people talk about our competitive juices and how they flow. The last 7 or 8 months since I've been named the AD, I haven't had anybody call me or email me and say, hey, can you guys be mediocre? Everybody is interested. Cougar Nation everywhere in the world is interested in what's going on. We just found out the last 3 or 4 days, we've literally heard from people all across the world of how invested they are, and then their message is, if you're going to chase greatness like this, if you're going to invest in the program, the whole program, all the way, facilities included, we are driven to have our facilities be second to none. If you're going to invest in the whole program, we're in. Cougar Nation all across the world, we're in. Let us know what you need. And that's been super heartwarming. And I see people even in this room the last few days that have just sent clear messages. We're all in for this program.
Kalani, it wasn't that long ago that you were sitting next to Tom Homo having a conversation like this along these lines, and Tom said a lot of what you said today about being invested in the whole program. Is this a sign that was unprecedented, but you have to do this? Is it a sign of how much the playing field is changing and how quickly everything's accelerating across the industry?
Yeah, I think that's the right way to say it. I think you have policies and guidelines that you want to do things, but you have to be able to adapt to what's going on in the game. I mean, just not long ago we didn't have this type of playoff system, So I think understanding that has been key. And I think Brian and Keith and the president have been amazing in the entire process. But it's also understanding that there's a vision of it. So in order to get somewhere, you have to have the vision first, and then you have to know that along the way this is what we want to get there. I mean, it's easy to just try to say let's do it all at once and in one day. It just doesn't work like that. So, but the communication and being able to talk about things and seeing that there's a plan in place, that's been the key. And communicating it through the entire team and the coaching staff. That's the one thing too. Is it's having us all be on the same page, and I feel like we're headed there. You just need to hear it more. And for me, I needed to hear it more from everyone and from the administration, and there's a commitment to do that. And I mean, there's also, we talked about having a commitment to do other things, not just be only about football. We have to be about other things and have to be able to serve the platform that we have, and even if other teams aren't doing it the way we do it. So I'm committed to doing that too, and I want to make sure that our guys, the guys that we bring on this team, that they're committed to doing that, and that they know that they have to not only perform on the field but off the field, and it's required of them to be at their best. And that's so we're working there. You know, some things you have to be a little bit patient with, and other things can be done right now. And I just like the vision of it all. And the administration giving me that vision, and also leadership from the church. So I feel really positive and good about where we're headed.
Your good friend is Joey McGuire, as you alluded to on Monday. Texas Tech, and Brent, you weigh in on this as well, has invested heavily in player retention and NIL and the like. You're talking about unprecedented funds. Are they an archetype you guys are aspiring to kind of follow in a way?
Yeah, with the investment that Texas Tech's made.
Across the board.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be the same way. It's not like we take the system that Texas Tech has and we use it for here. It won't work. BYU is unique and different, so we have to do it our own way. But there's got to be there are some things that are similar, but I don't know that game plan won't work here. And then I want young men that fit the system and fit what we're trying to get done here, and the mission of our team that's in alignment with the mission of the university and alignment with the mission of the church. And fortunately, there's a lot of young men that want to play football for that type of system and in that program. And we're finding out quite a bit in the recruiting process that we can field a really good team doing it that way. But you had to also take care of some other things, which is kind of a given, And so we're working through all of it. I like the discussions that we're having. I like the moves that we're making, and I feel good about the young men that we can bring into this program.
Kalani, you mentioned you wanted a deal that was going to help coaching staff, support staff. How does it help the coaching staff? Is it new deals also for your coordinators and things like that?
Yeah, I think it applies to everybody. And so it's important that everybody in this building feels valued, from our coaches to our support staff to our players as well. So that's the key. And so we're making that move for everyone. But when you think about it, my job isn't try to pay people so much money that they never want to leave. There's a lot of guys on our team that are going to be good quality head coaches. I noticed that when Lavelle was doing that and things are rolling, he was pumping out great NFL coaches, and I mean Andy Reid's one of them. He's out there at Kansas City right now, and I appreciate his support, by the way. And there's a lot of people out there that have gone through the system. So I'm trying to create a place where people want to get after our coaches and they want to hire them. That's a good sign for all of us. And so there's a little bit of both. I want to be able to retain coaches, but I also want to give them opportunities to move on if that's what they want to do.
And Brian, go ahead.
Go.
I was going to say, you brought up the facilities being second to none.
Yeah.
What role does facilities play in this long-term investment into Kalani and the program?
Well, you have to be in the game. And the one thing, and Kalani said it very, very well, one of the big game changers, and everyone in this room knows, is when we joined the Big 12. It changed everything as far as the level of competition day in and day out, and the ability to compete at the very highest level and put yourself in a position like we're in right now. And Kalani's done a great job of adapting and adjusting to a brand new world of being in the Big 12. And we're super grateful for the Big 12. The other part of it, and to answer your question about facilities, is that recruiting is the lifeblood of a program. And one of the things that's been proven is that Kalani and this staff, and the reason why we have to have the right coaches in place, is because recruiting is everything. And they just signed one of the top recruiting classes in the country, got commitments from some of the best players in the country, and one of the best recruiting classes we've had. And part of bringing those young men to this campus is they want to have the resources and the facilities to be able to prepare themselves for the next level. They all have the dream. And so we want to make sure when they come to BYU that they're not sacrificing anything in their ability to prepare for a great career at BYU and beyond. And so when you start looking at our facilities, our practice fields, our stadium, the locker rooms downstairs, the weight rooms, like, we want to make sure they have the very best and that we stay in the game. We got to be competitive. And those student athletes and those prospective student athletes, they're seeing the very best as they travel around. They want to know that if they come here, they're going to have access to the best resources and the best facilities. So that's part of our commitment, is to make sure that we have those facilities in place.
But with the facilities, though, just to add on that, sorry, Brian, but the most important facility is game day and game night, and what happens there. It's a spectacle. It's awesome. It's beautiful, and so we focus on that. All the other stuff, we need it, and there's some things that you need and some things that are required. That's the stuff I'm focused on. If a young man wants to come here because of a building, I don't know how good of a player he's going to be. So we're going to have what's needed and the necessities. We don't need to be extravagant, so that's not our style anyways. We're a tough-nosed program, and like I said, if a young man has to go somewhere because it's a beautiful building, I'd love to play against him, so we'll stick to our standard and our identity, but there are some things that we can make it easier for them to be at their best, and that can be at their peak performance level, and they can do a lot of things. That's the stuff we're going to really invest in.
Brian, it's well documented. You're a competitive person.
Yeah.
How does it feel to kind of win this competition when big hitters are swinging for your guy, Tom's guy that you guys brought in over a decade ago to win against the best, unlimited resources, along with Keith and Shane and those that have had the decisions? How does that feel to win?
I didn't view it like that. Going into this, we had a lot of conversations about the program and about making sure that he feels valued at BYU. And one of the things that we're all competitive, but my responsibility as the athletic director is to have the best coaches in the country for BYU. And there's nobody better in all of football for BYU than Kalani Sitake. So our investment was, let's make sure that we do everything we can to retain Kalani Sitake. We never wavered. We had a lot of great conversations, but that was the motivation. It wasn't to win. It was to make sure that we have the best football coach in America that aligns perfectly with BYU and the church, and there's nobody better than Kalani Sitake. And so that was the focus, is to make sure that we invested in the right person. And when you've been in something for 10 years, in the trenches, through the good, the tough, you find out real quick who you want to go to battle with. And if we're going to go to battle, we want to battle with this guy. And I'm walking the path with this guy. And so that was the motivation. It wasn't to win, but I'm grateful we won.
Brian, how does this change the expectations now for the program, this significant investment?
I think the expectations are already set by Kalani and his vision and passion for excellence. He's built something really, really special, and we wanted to give him the resources to be able to sustain it. There were a lot of people for a long time that said, number one, we would never be in a power conference, and number two, that we would never be in this position. But we believe, and he believes. And the expectations for this program are set by him and our vision to be great and to bring positive light to this incredible university, and positive light to, especially in this time of season, to the Savior. That's who we are. We're unashamed about it. And this athletic department, this university, our passion is to be perfectly aligned with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and be perfectly aligned with the leadership, with Keith and President, and all the way from top to bottom. And that's why I'm excited, because I feel like we're all in it together. And that doesn't happen everywhere, but it's going to happen here.
Kalani, if you can put it into words, from playing here, coaching here, becoming a true member of this community, what does BYU mean to you?
Yeah, I already cried enough tonight.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I don't know. It's a way of life, and so, and I don't know. It's awesome because it's family, and just everyone being the best. It's having wonderful example like the Savior to follow, and also realizing that we don't have to be perfect. That's been the key. I think what I love from our guys is I ask them to just try everything they got. The effort and energy will dictate everything for us. And but if it's about perfect, we haven't played a perfect game yet, but we're going to try. And so if we can just, the BYU way is for us to do it together and not to, and to rely on each other. I don't have all the answers. I remember 10 years ago when I got the job, I asked everyone to help me out, and it was a call to all of Cougar Nation to help me recruit. That's still going on. I still need that, but the thing that I'll tell you is exactly when you ask me, it's what happened with the outpouring of love. That's BYU, and imagine how what social media can be if we continue to follow the path of positivity and uplifting people. And I think it was something that was really beautiful that our fans did for me. I can tell you it made me feel really good. And I think we should do it more often for everyone and maybe turn it to a much more positive experience.
As you both, just one more question, then we're going to bring up Tanner and Chase, two of our senior captains. We'll make them available for a couple questions.
As you both know, in all virtually big-time football programs, the head coach has executive decision-making ability. Was Kalani granted that in this deal?
Kalani always has decision-making capability for his program. One of the things when you start talking about alignment is there are very few things that we disagree on when we talk about the direction of this program and where it's going, and we make decisions together. We make decisions together, and when there needs to be additional input, there's input. But Kalani always has decision-making capability for his football program. That's why we invest in him, because he makes sound decisions, and that's why we're in the position we're in. This excellence just didn't happen by chance. This has been happening for some time, and the way he's built it the right way. We're just super excited. And what I'm really excited for, and he mentioned it earlier, I'm excited for Cougar Nation. I think people are going to find out when that roof blows off on Saturday when our team runs on the field. People are going to feel what we all feel for this place and for this program, and we're extremely grateful for Kalani and his entire staff. And when I say entire staff, I'm looking around, I see all my staff that's been in the trenches here for the last little while, but these coaches and all of them that are here and that aren't here. I'm just going to say this real quick. The start of the year, we went to Media Day together, and we sat and watched the movie F1 together with a bunch of the players. And that celebration in the back room when they won, even those that weren't out on the track, that's what's happening here. That's the culture that he's created. Everybody feels a part of it, and they feel valued, and we're going to keep building this thing.
All right, there's the press conference. Kalani Sitake staying put at BYU. Coming up next, what is trending? The headlines are on the way.
It's time to get your morning started with the news you need to know. News update.
News update.
This is what's trending with DJ and PK. Hashtag BYU.
If I'm being honest, I just wanted to be here long. That's what it's all about. I've had amazing mentors along the way, including Lavelle Edwards and Kyle Whittingham, who like sticking where they're at. I appreciate all their examples to me, and so this is a place that I want to be for the long run. Luckily, I grew up cheering for this team, and I played here too, so it helps to play for the legend Lavelle Edwards.
Kalani Sitake is staying, PK. How about that? He wants to be here.
He wants to be here under different terms.
And he largely got his terms. I mean, I've gotten everything, but
I
got a lot.
think that you had to really listen to what he said. He said, I'm a competitor. I didn't want to leave, but I'm a competitor. Meaning he had to check out that option, and that lit a fire under BYU's administration. Now, I talked to Brian Santiago afterward, and I said, well, come on, man. This is, you say you want him here for a long time, and this is the guy, blah, blah, blah. But yet you didn't put together the package until he had leverage. And Brian said, no, we've been working on this for 6 weeks. And that's good, because there's a bunch of stuff that has bothered the BYU coaches, and to the point where they complain about they can't practice in the indoor facility when they want. They have to share it with intramurals sometimes. And
ouch.
Yeah, and that's literally what was said to me. And so with that in mind, Kalani was serious about it, as he should have been, even if he was bluffing serious, because it needed to be done. The phrase I heard was, we're tired of operating on a shoestring budget, those types of things. And I think what's really cool is that you hear when a job is open, doesn't matter what the job is, it can be any job, literally, you always hear, well, get the best person for the job. Well, BYU has the best person for the job. With what the requirements are ecclesiastically and all the other things that go into it, they literally have the best person for the job. And that is really cool for BYU and what they're trying to accomplish.
11-2 and 11-1 speaks for itself. But leverage doesn't hurt when you're trying to get a little more. And the thing is that they're operating on a shoestring budget. Okay, well, was it 3.5 years ago, whatever it was, the press conference with Tom Homo, when Tom said we made changes unprecedented.
Well, at the time it was.
Yeah, I know, at the time. But, man, the industry's constantly evolving, and so now an additional $10 to $15 million in NIL money. Man, you need to keep up with the Joneses, or in this case, trying to keep up with the Red Raiders.
Guy reported.
Yeah.
But we'll see if that
we'll see if that's true.
Yeah.
Kalani in the $9 to $9.5 million range, you buying that?
Salary, is that what you're talking about?
I mean, you always have bonuses. You never know the exact number. They got.
Well, you can if it's a public job,
yeah.
But for him.
Right, but in all the public ones we've seen, there's half dozen bonuses that are pretty common.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
GPA.
Kyle got like $650,000 for going to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. GPA.
The GPA is the stupidest thing I ever heard of.
Graduation
You do the
rate.
work, I get the money. Ready, break.
Well, yeah. Put in on that list of stupid bonuses, bonuses for being bowl eligible. Oh, come on. You're getting 6, 7, 8, 9 million.
But that's just one thing to pad the stats. I mean, that's not as dumb as the kid does the work and
you get the money.
Yeah. Sure, whatever. I'm not really concerned about the salary as far as that goes. Whatever Kalani feels is good and they feel is good is fine. If it's 8.
It's all a phenomenal amount of money.
Yeah. It's about funding the program. That's more important.
And in the midst of all of this, the college football playoff rankings come out, and you'll be surprised to learn that BYU didn't move. They stayed right at number 11 after beating UCF by 20.
I'm confident that the College Football Playoff Committee will do what's right.
Thank you, Commissioner. I don't know why you would have that confidence, but politically, I guess for one reason or another, you thought you had to say that because I don't think you believe it. But
I believe it.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag college football.
Cal targeting Oregon defensive coordinator Tosh Lupoi to become the new head coach of the Golden Bears. He's a Cal alumnus, and he spent the last 4 seasons working with the Ducks as their defensive coordinator. New Michigan State coach Pat Fitzgerald will make $5 million with a $500,000 raise each season in the 5-year deal he signed in East Lansing.
That's a nice cost of living raise.
He also gets a year added to the deal should they win 7 games. Win bonuses are $500,000 if they win 6 games, $1 million for 7, 1.5 with 8+ wins.
10 wins, a statue.
Recruiting starts today. Prospects for the class of 2026. Today's the first day of the early signing period. Today, tomorrow, and Friday. So you got a little 3-day window here for kids to decide where they want to go until they find out they've changed their mind.
Well,
and they
you
want
can
to transfer.
commit any time. Yeah. It's just you can
now
sign
you can sign
anytime.
now.
But this is you can sign on Monday, but this is the time that's supposedly a binding agreement to have to give you a scholarship and all that.
DJ and PK.
Hashtag NFL.
Steelers coach Mike Tomlin says he's heard the boos from the team's fans amidst their recent run of 5 losses in 7 games. And he said, quote, "In general, I agree with them. From this perspective, football is our game. We're in a sport entertainment business. And so if you root for the Steelers, entertaining them is winning. So when you're not winning, it's not entertaining."
Okay.
The Steelers, we just heard from quarterback Aaron Rodgers about receivers not running right routes and all of that. They have just claimed veteran wide receiver Adam Thielen on waivers while cutting veteran defensive back Darius Slay to make room on their roster. So Minnesota let Thielen go to let him latch on with a playoff hopeful, and the Steelers are tied with the Ravens 2 games in front of the Bengals. Somebody's going to have to win the NFC North. DJ and PK.
Hashtag NBA.
The LA Clippers sent veteran guard Chris Paul home abruptly overnight and will look to move him elsewhere. Reasons are not clear currently why they're cutting ties. Clippers are off to a miserable 5-16 start. Paul is in season number 21. He's set to retire at the end of the year. A little odd right there. Golden State Warriors star Steph Curry will not join the team on their upcoming 3-game road trip. He's still dealing with the effects of a quad injury he suffered against the Houston Rockets. An older team breaking down physically in the middle of an NBA season. How surprised are you, PK?
Yeah, the only thing I would argue with that, we're not in the middle.
Okay. 22nd game win against the Warriors. They got beat at home by the Thunder last night, 124-112. Spurs have been missing guys here through the first 20 games, but they made it through 20 games 14-6. They beat the Memphis Grizzlies last night, 126-119.
Yeah, they're back.
The Spurs the real deal now. Done with the whole rebuild.
Yeah.
You got big name guys coming and going. A combination of your 3 high draft picks have all missed some games here, sometimes at the same time.
It is a build, but it's not a rebuild.
Yeah. Wizards keep losing. Rock solid 3-17 through 20 games. They got beat by the Sixers last night, 121-102. Maybe they'll get one of these young players. Will A.J. DeBonsa end up with the Wizards? How will the lottery work? They're clearly going to be right in the middle of it.
Don't even mention it.
Zion Williamson will miss at least 3 weeks with a right hip abductor strain. The oft-injured star will be on the bench once again. He's already missed 11 games this year, so now he's out 3 more weeks.
Yeah, I can't believe it.
I think he can. Danilo Gallinari announced his retirement from basketball. 16 years in the NBA, played 14 years, missed 2 seasons with ACL tears. He's 37 years old now, and he's hanging it up. DJ and PK.
Hashtag college basketball.
Utah goes to Cal. Close game late. They're down a couple points. But those last 2 or 3 minutes go against them. Cal makes free throws down the stretch. They win 79-72. Dai Ames led Cal with 25 points in their victory. 9th-ranked BYU takes on Cal Baptist tonight at the Delta Center. Tip-off at 7 o'clock on ESPN+.
Well, we would normally call that the Mormons against the Baptists, but BYU have any Mormons on the team anymore?
How many Baptists does Cal Baptist have?
Every one of them.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I talked to them personally.
I
said, are you a Baptist? Are you a Baptist? Are you a Baptist?
Cal Baptist will be hanging out here and playing Utah on the weekend. So, elsewhere, Weber State's hosting Oral Roberts tonight. Tech's at Santa Clara, UVU's at San Diego State. Check those games out on ESPN+. DJ and PK.
Hashtag Major League Baseball.
Cleveland Guardians pitchers, Emmanuel, is it Clase?
Yeah.
Clase and Luis Ortiz are facing a May 2026 trial on federal charges that they took bribes to help gamblers bet on their pitches. Expecting a trial that's a couple weeks long coming up with those guys. You got sources, PK, saying the Blue Jays are adding Cody Ponce on a 3-year, $30 million deal. He revived his career going over and pitching in Korea and being great. So, the Blue Jays loading up.
Well, there's been guys that have gone over there and come back, and American guys I'm speaking of, and have done well. So, yeah, it's extremely possible.
Hall of Fame players Ferguson Jenkins, Jim Cott, Juan Marichal, Tony Perez, Ozzie Smith, Alan Trammell, and Robin Yount are among 16 members of the Contemporary Era Committee that will consider an 8-man Hall of Fame ballot that includes Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, Don Mattingly, and Dale Murphy.
Yeah, this is Dale's big chance, I think. You know, he's been out there for a good while. A lot of sentiment. Baseball Network been running stuff, really pushing hard for him. It seems like this is his chance, and I don't have any problem with it.
The odds are as good as they've ever been.
Yeah, I always said that I had to get Fred McGriff in first. McGriff's now in, and then I thought
Dale
Murphy
could be next. Yeah,
guy like Mattingly. I'm not a big. I mean, I know career stats matter, and they should, like Clayton Kershaw getting to 3,000 strikeouts. I mean, that's an enormous number done by few. So I understand that.
So that should matter.
But
you're more interested in them being one of the 5 best players.
How dominant were they during the era that they were good? And it needs to be. It can't be. Who was the one they called him the Bird? Fidrich.
Not
right.
1 year, a big year doesn't count.
Right.
But if you have a 5, 7, or 10-year run.
He was a 2-time MVP. I think he was second in the league in home runs in the 80s. I want to say behind Schmidt or something like that. The team wasn't all that good at the time. But, he can't control that. That's up to everybody else.
Yeah, but you would think winning a couple MVPs.
Yeah.
Okay, you're at the top of the game for a while. And usually people win a couple MVPs. Maybe not. Fidrich is a great example. But usually if you have a couple MVPs, you were probably top 5, top 10 in the voting other years.
And then you have, what about, are you an ambassador for the game? I'm a little hesitant on that. Now, certainly Dale Murphy was, and still is for that matter. But a guy like Curt Schilling, who's got these outlandish views that he puts out there, that you're thinking, Curt, man, tone it down a little bit. At least I do. Maybe others may think differently. But it seems like, that's being held against him. And should that really, even though I may think his ideas are crazy, does he not have the right to voice them?
How about someone in that regard? This is a little different, but Barry Bonds was never seen as an ambassador for the game. I mean, he was seen as a grumpy guy that a lot of times his own teammates
Which is why I
didn't
liked
like, and his ex-teammates would leak stories and tell stories about
Well,
his
yeah,
stuff.
I could go back to college.
I
and
know.
I heard stuff. My next-door neighbors, 3 of them were on the team. I was literally there when he was there. And, I think that I think he should be in. I'm a little looser on the steroids than a lot of people are because the situation was that who do we know? How do we really know? Sure, we know these guys, but were they facing guys who were doing it, and is that a wash? And then you always go the fallback with him and Clemens, and probably A-Rod too. They had the stats with or without.
Yep.
But that's part of the story. And then he has to address that, or the plaque has to address that.
Tell the whole story at the hall. What's wrong with that?
I mean, ultimately, it is a museum. It's not heaven.
It's baseball heaven. Who was I just talking to? We were talking, there were some of us, and we were talking about which halls of fame we'd been to, and all of us had been to some of them, but not all of them. I haven't been to Cooperstown, and they were just gushing over Cooperstown.
Well,
you feel it when you go through the door.
Well, I think you feel it when you go in the town.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And I said, yeah, I didn't get that at the Basketball Hall of Fame. And once I got in the Hall of Fame, it was fine. But it's in a mall. It's in a pretty average strip mall. It was the weirdest thing. And once you get in it, it feels good. And there's displays, and it's nice. But it was weird.
Cooperstown is an entire town.
Yeah.
So it's not just the hall, and it's all centered around baseball and pizza and those types. I spent a week there once, and I've been there 3 or 4 times.
Well, they've got the fields there, and they have youth tournaments there, and you get to go to the hall while you're at the youth tournament.
Right. And I've done.
They've turned it in. A small town has turned it into an entire industry,
and it works in the summer.
Yeah.
I've been to the 2 Hall of Fames that I want to go to in sports. I've been to, which was the one in Cooperstown, and then the Negro one, because my father lived there. And
is that in Kansas City?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I did go through that because he was a big Negro League guy. He didn't grow up in a lot of his neighbors were black people, and so plus it was right down the street and it was affordable. And he told me about seeing guys like Monty Irvin and stuff. So I went after he passed, and it meant something to me a little bit more. A little bit of a spiritual thing there. But the Negro Leagues, obviously, they had tons of guys who were really, really good, and I wanted to do that. And then the other the other Hall of Fame that I want to go through, and I have multiple times, is the Rock and Roll.
Spectacular.
If I'm around and if I'm in, where's basketball? Springfield?
Basketball's in Springfield,
If
Massachusetts.
I'm there, fine.
Yeah.
Football, fine, but I don't really have any overwhelming desire. In fact, I've been
to football, haven't you?
I have not. I've been to the town, and I didn't go.
You were in Canton? It's literally off the freeway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I didn't go. I didn't want to pay.
DJ PK.
#NHL.
The Utah Mammoth are in Anaheim tonight to take on the Ducks at the Honda Center. Puck drop set for 8 o'clock. Coverage on the Zone begins at 7. 12 wins, 12 losses, 3 OT losses. We're still fairly early in the season, but they, after starting off awesome and being in first place in the division, they have sagged. They are no longer in the top 8. They'd miss the playoffs if they started today. Granted, there's a long way to go. This will be game 28. So there's a long way to go. But this has been a bad stretch, a bad November, currently on a 4-game losing streak, and embarrassed in San Jose, giving up 6 goals in the first 2 periods in the most recent game. Daniil Boot's been called up, so got a new guy to work in, see how they juggle the lines and the defense pairings and how they shake things up here. Played both goalies in the last game. What can they do to turn this around? 8 o'clock tonight on the Zone. What is trending? Brought to you by Shamrock Plumbing. There's no job too big or too small. Get the personal touch with Shamrock Plumbing. Coming up, Riley Jensen will join us at 8 o'clock. Fox Sports, play-by-play broadcaster Tim Brando at 9. It's a Win Tickets Wednesday. We'll be giving away tickets to Aerofest with Styx in Chicago, the Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater at the end of August. August 30th is the date for that. We'll do that coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. The question of the day is next. Stay with us.
Since the game went final in Lubbock, touchdown, Parker Kingston! The Cougars have wanted a rematch with the Red Raiders. Now they've got it, with a guaranteed spot in the college football playoff on the line. Listen all week long for the best coverage of BYU in the Big 12 title game, with exclusive interviews and analysis you won't get anywhere else. Then, on Saturday, catch a special Big 12 title game edition of College Football Game Day beginning at 8 a.m. with a post-game show immediately following the game. Exclusive Big 12 title game coverage on the Zone is presented by JCW's, the Burger Boys, quality and a lot of it. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Join Hans and Scotty noon to 3 today at Tim Dolly Nissan Southtown, 11155 South Jordan Gateway in South Jordan. Tim Dolly, home of the forever warranty.
That's a long time, man, and Kalani Sitake will be coaching at BYU longer than that warranty.
How long you got Kalani down for now?
30, 40.
Okay. Maybe 50 years.
Not 50.
Not 50.
No.
Kalani pushing 90.
Still hugging media members.
There it is.
Man, you had a long embrace. I thought, my gosh, are you going to let him go?
No, I was recounting something with him. It was a moment we shared a long time ago.
Jeez, I know, but ear to ear?
Didn't want to.
I couldn't pry you two apart.
You could have. You're very strong. I mean, it's bench day like every other day.
Yeah, but I mean, those are
leg day, bench day. Leg day, bench day. Leg day, bench day.
You know?
Kalani staying. How happy are you, BYU fans?
Happy days are here again. The sky is blue.
Basically, that's what Kerry says. So happy. 3 exclamation points. Kalani is our guy. Exclamation point. Rick gave it a so happy with 6 O's and 3 P's.
Happy, happy day. Kalani's
Lane
here to
is
stay.
elated.
He's elated.
Todd sees it as a group deal. Hey, as long as Jay Hill stays, I'll be stoked.
Well, you have to allow all assistants the opportunity to move on if a head coaching job comes their way or an opportunity that they deem is better. That's fairly common in the business.
Mike says, I love Kalani Sitake, but perhaps the best part of keeping him is the promises regarding funding for the program. Retaining Sitake wasn't about paying Sitake more money.
Okay. Well, I'm glad he has the inside information.
It's partially about paying Sitake more money. But yes, more support.
What the heck
for
did
the
I go
rest of the
down there
program.
for and try to talk to a bunch of people off to the side for if I could have just read that post?
That's actually an excellent thought. Why did you just stay home, stay warm?
Yeah.
Quit driving around sleet-covered freeways. What are you doing?
As soon as that thing was over, I immediately went up to multiple people. Okay, give me the scoop.
Would you like to repeat anything you were told in those moments?
That the staff, several of them, absolutely thought they were gone.
It was that close.
Mm-hmm. And
the offer was that good, and it was taken that seriously.
Yeah. And another one said it came right down to the buzzer. So combined with staff members telling me we thought we were going, and then somebody else saying it came right down to the buzzer. Okay, that's just, I'm passing along information, but that gives you an indication for our listeners that, yes, it was right there to be had, and BYU did what it did. They needed to do what they did, or he would have been gone. I think it would have been reluctant, but if you go back and listen, and he says, I'm a competitor, what he's saying is, I want to win at the highest level, and BYU needed to step up for me to see I can do it here. And once that became apparent, I said, okay, because this was my preference to stay, but they had to meet the criteria that needed to be met. And in Kalani's eyes, they did, which is all that matters. And so away we go. So I think this is a good day we talk to fans. Fans are the guys and ladies who have paid my salary. And I am very indebted to them, the ones who are literally listening right now. And for them, this is great news because they're the fans. I'm just a fan myself. I never played that. I never went hat on hat. And my fingernails have never had dirt.
Except for your freshman year at Thunderbird High.
Right, but I sat the bench because I never put hat on hat. Okay. And I only did that because I literally did not know a soul.
Didn't know anybody.
And I was 2,500 miles away from my comfort zone. And so I had no one desire to do it,
right.
But I knew I needed to
and you
get some friends.
And you were too small to do it.
And yeah, and that helped me meet some guys.
Who like sports.
Right.
Had something in common with them.
Right. I also played freshman basketball and freshman baseball. And if I could have played freshman tennis, I would have. I'm nothing but a fan, and a fan who has access. And I speak to the fans, and they should be ecstatic over this. That A, he's staying. Although I might even say B, he's staying. I may say A, that they have made a major investment to get this program to compete at a level that has changed so drastically in the last 3-4 years. And you need to do this, and they're doing it. And I think it's great. BYU talks about always we want to win at the highest level. We want to do it the BYU way. And I get that. I get the guys like Santiago who have a position of authority but yet still report to authority need to please and appease the authority by saying the BYU way. Even though that BYU way is not the way it used to be. I mean, just look at the complexions of the team and how many LDS kids are on the team, how many are not. There's always going to be, particularly in football. They're fortunate in football that they can have a fair amount of LDS guys because the Polynesians, there's not a lot of great Polynesian basketball players. Let's just call it like it is, right? But there's
hard to argue that with PK.
Of Polynesian football players, and a lot of them are LDS, so they can still have a significant LDS influence on the football team. Basketball, if you want to win at the highest level, not so much. And that's what we have right here with this complexion of the team. I'm not saying it's wrong or bad. I don't give a crap what they do, but that's the reality of it. So they have to win the BYU way, and then you have to get these kids that are not LDS to understand the BYU way and at least say, yeah, okay, I'm okay with it, and then fine, you're more than welcome here, especially if you're a really good player. And away they go. So they have to say the BYU way. Aside from that, and that's not anything to ignore, you need to have great athletes. We were having that discussion yesterday with Alex and JJ with Lane Kiffin. Sure, it's going to hurt, but I'd rather have the players there than Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin was a bum at 2 other places. Now, all of a sudden, he's a genius.
And Lane Kiffin, I think it's pretty easy to argue, is leaving Ole Miss and going to LSU because he thinks he can get even better players at LSU than he can get at Ole Miss. And he's gotten pretty good players at Ole Miss, and he's ridden the players to where he is. But he's thinking, I want to win more.
And that's where that's the very reason why Kalani was entertaining the offers and the packages from Penn State because, as he said, I'm a competitor, which means I want to win at as high as I possibly can go. And BYU said, well, what can we do? And he talked about it, communication. You can go listen to it. We had this communication, and basically they appeased him. And then he came to the point where, and I just got too much history here, and they're doing all these things, so I'm going to stay. And that's great news. That's great. It's double great news for the BYU fans.
It's not just that he's staying. It's that the program's going to be funded in a way he thinks the program needs to be funded.
Exactly.
To compete at the level they want to compete at, that he knows he's going to be held accountable for competing at.
Yes, precisely. Yeah, that's an excellent point, that he is going to be held accountable for that, so you want to be able to have that funded. Yeah. And those guys know.
He'll be Mike Tomlin if they're out there going 7-5, 5-7.
The coaches know more than I know. All I can go by is what they tell me. And when I hear somebody tell me, hey, Texas Tech's defensive line, you add those guys together, what they're getting, it equals almost our entire team. Well, what the heck are you supposed to do with that? That's the reality of the situation.
I know what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get beat. In some cases, you might get beat twice. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen in Arlington on Saturday, but we got an idea. That D-line's still going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then they'll tweak things. I'm sure they've studied the Sun Devils because that's the only team that's beaten Tech this year. And they've clearly, Chase Roberts talked about it, they've gone back and looked at the game film and the mistakes they made because they're going to have to bring their A game, obviously.
Right. I've been in intense conversations as a Sun Devil with Aaron Roderick and Fesi Sitake.
Nice.
Harvey Unga.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Here's some plays, guys.
Yeah. I watched the game.
I know you did. Hey, this worked. And they're like,
actually, I only watched the first half. Because then we had to go. It preceded the BYU Utah game, so we did a big pregame that I had to be down in Provo. That I was at, and I didn't have my computer, and right in front of me were Alex and Jake Scott. They were watching, so they were telling me. But then I went back and saw it and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean that's common. How did one team do it? Well, yeah, they had Levitt and Jordan Tyson able to do their thing, and away they go. And good for them. And can you recreate that? It's not out of the question, but it's going to be difficult because that's a well-paid, well-coached, well-stocked, talent-wise team. They got what they paid for, and good on them. I'm not. That sounds like snarky jealousy. No, good on them, man. No one's saying they did anything that you're not supposed to do. That's the way of the world now.
And if you don't do it, then you'll end up 8-4 or 4-8.
Yeah. Am I going to criticize the Dodgers?
I am.
No.
Losers, $1 billion. You just bought it. You bought it.
Great. Good for them. And they needed Miguel Rojas to come through and be the best role player, making the biggest biggest plays they've ever had.
They really did. They were just flying. They were sleepwalking through the regular season.
Yeah.
We just need 90 to get in. Then they were flying through the National League playoffs and then the World Series. Everybody.
Right down to the end.
Hey, you.
They literally won by an inch.
What's your name? I don't know, but
they won by an inch with Paez making the play in the outfield. They won by an inch with Rojas throwing the runner out at the plate.
They won by an inch with the ball sticking under the wall. And then nothing to do with.
And then that other one when Hernandez catches the ball on a dead run in left field and throws a hopper that Rojas it knocks him down, and he still manages to keep his foot on the base to get the final out.
Yep.
You paid for whomever, the best second baseman in the world, Joe Morgan or whomever you think was the Honus Wagner, or whoever the best Ryan Sandberg, whomever you think was the best all-time second baseman. I don't know if he makes those plays.
Famous people named Honus. Go.
That's all I know.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
If he played today and got a big contract coming out of college, he would have been a Honus baby.
Nice. Bonus Honus.
People, I can give you information and then I lay upon you a Honus baby. Where else can you get that?
Only one place. The mold has been broken.
Yeah.
Of all the feedback we got this morning, how about this one?
What?
Joseph, not a BYU fan, but I think he's the perfect fit for BYU. And I can't blame him. for using the situation as leverage to improve his situation and the assistants around him.
And the program. And he's a steward of the program, too. That's another thing, man. This man really cares about the program. And he is one of the most, if not the most loving coach I've ever been around in terms of loving his fellow man, following the example of Jesus. And they talk about that, and it means something to them. And I don't make light of it whatsoever. But this man truly loves his fellow man and fellow woman. That is just on display all the time.
And I think the best place for it to be on display for people who don't have access to him and don't get to interact and don't get to see that and hear that in tone of his voice, listen to all the different broadcasters and the way they talk about him. And then listen to all the players and the way they talk about him. Like, he's having a lot of those interactions with a lot of people that you hear from, and you keep hearing that over and over.
Yeah. That's sort of a little bit of a drive-by thing. It's important. I go more on the people who see him all the time. Like, I mean, I covered him as a player. That's how freaking old I am.
I know.
I am
I'm with
76 years old.
Fullback.
And
You're not 76 years old.
But I was the beat writer his last year.
Duh.
Well, I'm not. I turned 76 here shortly. So you're right.
Just making stuff up.
And I was there, and you saw it in him then. And as he's gone all these different places, there must have been at least, 50 people in that room. He literally hugged every one of them. Literally every single person there. He didn't go right to hatback billionaire. He didn't go right to crumble dude, the dudes with the big money.
Off to our right, where there were a lot of we were sitting in front of the podium, and then there were people standing on both sides and at the back of the room. And he was over to our right, and he started in the back of the room, and he literally went right down the line, each and every person.
Yeah, I thought we were going to run out of time because I thought your hug was just too long.
Oh, I thought it was just right.
No, it needed to be at least a minute and a half shorter.
Okay, here's the thing.
thought it was.
Yeah.
It lingered.
Right. It's like, break it
long?
up.
It lingered too long.
I was almost going to say get a room.
Oh, dude. Why you got to be like that?
Let him go. He's got other people
He's
to
got
hug.
film to watch.
Two things. Number one, is recalling a moment that we had shared years, if not decades earlier, because
you brought up. Couldn't you just said, "Hey, congratulations," and boom? Did you have to talk his head off?
He had something to add about that,
right? Because he felt awkward. The guy's not letting me go. He's telling me a long-winded story that's 25 years old.
This is all probably true.
Yeah, he's like, but I got this rep. I can't say, "Hey, shut up, I got to go," because I just built up. He was crying. Everybody was emotional in the room.
No. I waited till he pulled it together. He wasn't sobbing.
No, not at that time. No. I'm talking about prior. He obviously got choked up.
Oh, he got choked up.
This means a lot to him.
He seriously got choked up probably 3 times actually during that. There were some long pauses in there while he gathered himself.
If I'm a BYU fan, I feel great about having him as my coach, because it means as much to him as it does to me if I were a BYU fan. And we know fans and what it means to them.
Well, you always talk about maybe it's time for School X. You said it about many schools. Maybe it's time for School X to hire one of their guys. There's been a bunch of people going through there every 3 or 4 years or less, and they put on the hat and they say it's a great day to be a fill-in-blank nickname here. And woo! And yet they're going to get an offer and be out the door in 2, 3, 4 years, or they're going to fire in 2, 3, 4 years. And he played there. He's got a 20, I can't even do the math now. What is that? Almost a 30-year history, actually, with the school. And it gets to be that big a chunk of your life, of course it's going to mean something.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely, man. There's just no question about it. And he's so authentic. You see, I talk about Jim Moore and his wife.
That was the latest example. It's a great day to be a Ram.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on, man.
3 weeks ago.
I know. Yeah.
Or maybe they fired Norvell a little earlier, so maybe he had conversations, but a year ago, whatever. And if you have young children, they paint their faces. And that's the great thing. Kalani references his wife and his kids, but you ever seen him around?
Yes.
Not much.
Nope.
They're not. Were they even there? Were they in that room?
I did not see them in the room.
Right.
I saw his one daughter. I did not see his wife.
Well, his one daughter works there.
Yes, and she was there.
Okay, so she's an employee.
Yeah,
but like, it's him. It's legitimate. It's not phony. It's not in the moment. They didn't have to have his young children paint their faces with the BYU Cougar logo and all that nonsense. You're a hired hand, and that's fine.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like I grew up thinking, oh my gosh, my life would be complete if I worked for KSL. I mean, I didn't even know about KSL until I moved to Utah, right? And here I am as an employee, and I'm grateful for it. But you get the point. And here, this is something that means so much to him, and it means so much to the fans. That's the thing I always used to say about when we'd go down to Pac-12 media interview days, and I'd see Todd Graham, and I'd see Herm Edwards. To taste me, it makes me sick to say his name. It's like, you're not a Sun Devil. I'm a Sun Devil. You're not a Sun Devil. Don't give me this crap. I didn't buy it.
And this isn't going to work either.
Well,
Next.
Yeah, probably. Well, Graham had a little decent run.
Yeah.
Herm could have had, but they got astray. But Dillingham, I feel like I'm talking to a peer.
Case, never in question. Sitake used the opportunity to leverage greater funds. He's no dummy.
Yeah, but see, then I've got guys on the staff telling me I thought we were gone. So maybe to you it was never in question, but to guys on his staff that were going to go, they thought they were gone.
Contacting realtors.
And how about this? How about it if it had been Bronco?
If what had been Bronco?
He gets the offer from Penn State. Does he go?
Ooh. The second mountain. Maybe the third mountain for Bronco.
You never know.
You'll never know. Maybe we'll find out.
But what we
gotta go
do
find
know
somebody.
is one of your own
is staying put.
I want to be here.
Yeah. And the fact is, it's gone really well the last 2 years, and so people feel great. And I do wonder, you get 3-4 years down the road, if it isn't going great, all the he referenced the love bomb and all the people who reached out to him in different ways, the people he didn't even know. But in 3 or 4 years, there's a time Mike Tomlin.
You got to win.
Yeah, there it is. Mike Tomlin was beloved in Pittsburgh, and now he's here in Booze.
Okay, but that's not. I don't think it was just 3 and 4 years after a Super Bowl.
No,
it was.
It's taken some time to get to this.
And they don't have a quarterback.
That is the single biggest problem.
After Roethlisberger retired, they've been, who's next?
When we come back, breaking news in the Big 12. Yak just telling us about it right now. We will get to that next. Stay with us.
You've been listening to The Zone for decades. Yes! But now you can watch the guys break down your favorite teams.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Catch the video stream of DJ and PK, Jake and Ben, Hanson, Scotty, and JJ and Alex right now at KSLSports.com or by searching KSL Sports on YouTube. Utah's best sports radio is on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The band of the day, Ozzy Osbourne. How old would Ozzy have been today?
Born in 1948.
That's a lot of math. I don't know about that. So probably
77.
77, you're right. See, that's why I shouldn't do math. 77. Ozzy Osbourne all day long. All right, Big 12 breaking news.
Crazy!
Ozzy Osbourne and the band of the day, brought to you by Live Nation. For all of the live concerts and events in 2025, check out livenation.com.
We got to get that printer fixed.
The Big 12 breaking news. Kansas State head coach Chris Klieman is set to announce his retirement this week, and Texas A&M offensive coordinator and former Wildcat quarterback and offensive coordinator Colin Klein is lined up to replace him. They are getting one of their own at K-State, PK.
They go to Klieman to Klein. I remember him as a quarterback over there, for sure.
7 good years for Klieman.
Well, that's kind of crazy because he's only 58. He turned 58
he's on the young
2
side.
months ago, 3 months ago. And they underachieved this year. I don't think there's any question about that. 6-6.
Coming off 9-4, 9-4, and 10-4 in a Sugar Bowl 3 years ago.
Yeah. I wonder what's going on there. Do they want to change? I mean, that would stink if you had one 6-6 season.
And you got forced out.
Yeah.
If this is what he wants, so be it.
Exactly. Right. And you won 28 games the prior 3 years. That's pretty good.
Yeah. And he'd been there. He's completed 7 seasons, and his only losing year was the bizarro 2020 season when they went 4-6.
That's nonsense.
Everything else, he's 8, 9, 10 wins.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
Until this year, and they go 6-6.
That COVID, who was available, who wasn't. Blah,
yeah,
blah,
who
blah.
knows?
No one should be judged on that season for sure. And then prior to that, obviously at North Dakota State, he was 69-6.
Crushed it.
And they've always had a good program. I think Craig Bowl, he succeeded. Craig Bowl hired him and all that stuff. The Wyoming guy who retired was a little older. But yeah, I wonder what's going on there. If there was a little bit of a hand in the back type of thing, or he really wanted to stop.
Coaching carousel in full swing.
I mean, they were here, and we saw that where he's got emotional, and the AD puts his hand on Chris's back and said, basically, you're my guy, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
And now 3 weeks later, he's out the door. Hopefully for him, it's something he wanted to do, and we'll see, though. At 58.
If he takes a job in 2 weeks, then we'll know. We've seen it. We've been told before that other people have retired, and then you say, "Oh, what are you going to do in retirement?" "I'm going to get a job. I need a job." "Oh, okay. Well, you didn't retire."
Yeah,
it's hand in the back time.
Right.
So out the door you go.
But they obviously must have had something in the works. You saying they already named the successor?
Yep. Pulling in a former K-State quarterback and a former K-State offensive coordinator. So,
right.
Colin Klein, step right up. He's 36 years old. Mm-hmm. But you do wonder, okay, is he the hot OC and he was about to get a job and then they wouldn't be able to get him and they wanted to bring him home? So, I mean, we've seen that story before, too.
Oh, you mean like with Scally?
Don't know which of those stories is true and is being repeated here.
Because if I'm Penn State, I give Scally a call.
Give him a ring. What do you think? All right, DJ PK, it's 97.5, The Zone. Coming up next, Riley Jensen will join us. And coming up, 9 o'clock, Tim Brando, Fox Sports play-by-play broadcaster. We will talk college football players with him, and we'll do that with Riley next. Stay with us. Get the best blankets and gifts ever and save 50% this season with the promo code ZONE50. Shop online at MickeyCouture.com or visit any of their 6 locations. DJ, PK, and we're joined now by Riley Jensen. Riley, good morning.
My guys, what's happening?
Well, Kalani isn't going to Penn State. He's staying at BYU. That is clearly the big news. And it made me think as they, invest and we see all kinds of stories out there about, just massive numbers. It made me think Riley's not just a former Snow College and Utah State quarterback, is usually what we talk about. But for one spring, you went to BYU, competed for the starting job. You didn't get it. And you told us, Norm Chow understood when you moved on because you wanted to go somewhere where you could play. But what BYU football looked like then and what it looks like now, like nobody then would believe now. I don't know that any of us would, but especially if you were there walking around in the facilities with those coaches in that era. And I get the whole sport has changed, but does it blow your mind?
Yeah, there was still a part of BYU that was coming off the Cottonwood Bowl at that time, and it was a big time feel, about as big time a feel as you could have for BYU at that time, and I still think they would be blown away. And so I don't think that there's any question that the amount of money that's in the program, the amount of success that's happening in the Big 12, and some of the different things that are going on are huge. I will tell you this. 2 of my most impressive teammates at BYU when I was there were Kalani Sitake and Aaron Roderick. And so it's one of those things where I'm not surprised. These guys were playing big-time football even back then, and I'm not surprised that their discipline, that their personalities, their work ethic is translating to this kind of success at BYU.
We saw some national reports that BYU is going to give an extra 10 to 15 million available for NIL, and that's above what the university is allowed to pay. That's $20.5 million. That is through all sports. So, and most of it obviously does go to football. And in your experience in talking with high school kids and signing day being upon us and all, what do you think is is a deciding factor if you're listing the reasons as to why a young man chooses a school as far as the financial compensation is? Where do you put that in the pecking order of level of importance for the young men that would be considering signing with BYU?
Well, I think it's super important to 5-star athletes and 4-star athletes. I think your 3-star athletes are excited about the possibility of what could happen, and there's some schools that don't have as much money they're basically dividing this into like, look, this is what the slot is, and this is what you're going to get paid if you're the starter. We're giving you the opportunity to earn that money if you're a starter. But BYU with, and we saw this with Lane Kiffin with what the extra $25 million that LSU is going to pay for their NIL. What we're seeing is that they're going to be able to go out and offer like big-time money to big-time recruits. And so it's a game changer. And I think now that we've had a couple of years in the Wild Wild West, or 3 years in the Wild Wild West of all this money, schools are starting to figure out that, hey, man, if we can pay premium prices at these positions and in these places, we can land some big-time recruits, and I think it's a game changer for BYU right now. I mean, you look at some of the players that they've been able to bring over, even from the University of Utah. I think the key to NIL is being able to poach like what you need for next year from other schools, and so I think it's a big deal, and I think Kalani realizes what a big deal this money is, and that he's going to be able to compete on a national level with the amount of money that they're putting into NIL.
So I'm curious if the best way, if you get a bump, any school, I mean, it's BYU in this case, but you get a bump, is it best to spread that money around the second and the third string if you're really good at developing people? Because the more people you have who you think are pretty good with a chance to develop, the more likely you are to hit, right? It's like having a deep farm system in baseball. Or is it about, hey, now that you have this money, impact player at quarterback, impact player at left tackle, impact pass rusher to disrupt the other team's quarterback in their passing game? How would you handle that? Would you spot it on 3 or 4 key positions, or try to build depth across the roster, especially if you were good at bringing those players along?
Well, I personally feel like, I mean, you've always got to spend money on a quarterback. You've always got to spend money on some playmakers and then a left tackle. But I think where you can really make some hay is at D-line and on the offensive line, where maybe there's a school, and I don't know what the exact numbers are, but let's say that there's a school that's offering $200,000 to a really good offensive line prospect, and you're able to come in and pay him $300,000. He maybe doesn't start, but he brings tremendous depth and really, really good talent to those positions. Because I still believe, I really still believe that, these skill players and guys like Bear Bachmeier that are going to be really, really good for the school for a few more years are really a big deal, but it's still won in the trenches. I mean, BYU's playing good football because they have a really good defensive line. Their offensive line has totally played better than what I thought they were going to play this year. And you win it in the trenches. When I'm watching a game, I'm watching the first few series to see what's going on with the offensive and the defensive line, and that's going to give me a really good indicator about who's going to win the game. And the perfect example of that is when BYU is playing against Texas Tech. When I was watching that game, I was like, this could be a long day, because right now that D-line is winning and that offensive line for Texas Tech is winning, and that doesn't bode well for you. So I think maybe it's a combination of both. I'm positive that these college teams are now talking to pro teams to ask them how they kind of divide up their money and what percentage is allocated to each position and those sorts of things right now, because you can do the same thing that pro teams are doing on a smaller scale in college. And so I'm sure there's been some conversations with Andy Reid and what he thinks, and some different people that BYU coaches are connected to in the NFL to find out the best way to spread this money. And they've probably already been doing that on a smaller scale. Now they're going to be able to do it with even more money, and that makes you feel good if you're a BYU supporter or fan, that, man, they're going to be able to allocate money to different positions to help out.
I know you know a lot of people. I'm wondering if you got any involved in conversations about Kalani possibly leaving to go to Penn State. At the press conference, I had learned that, quote, it came down right to the buzzer, meaning that, it was touch and go as far as him staying, him going. Obviously, he stayed. I'm wondering if you got involved in that process to find out what was going on.
I tried really, really hard. The three people that I know pretty well on the staff were amazingly tight-lipped. And I try not to push too hard. I'm in this part-time. I was only interested in, how it affects them and their families, but they weren't even budging with me. And so from other people that I've talked to that have been able to, it was definitely touch and go. And on let's see, what is today? Wednesday. I heard on Monday like it was a done deal. He was going to Penn State, and then somehow, not to use religious terms, but there was some sort of Hail Mary that was made to be able to get Kalani to stay.
I think of that as a Roger Staubach term. So,
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord be with thee. Blessed art thou.
No, that's not Roger Staubach right there.
That's the prayer. It's an actual prayer.
I know it is.
Did you ever recite it?
Maybe.
I have many times.
I had a kid in the dumb class. We've heard all about it.
It feels like it's kind of worked for you, PK.
Oh, I've needed several Hail Marys in my life. Hail Marys, Bloody Marys, you name it.
I'm just saying, I know Jackie, and I know that was a Hail Mary for you. So,
the Lord was with thee.
All right, speaking of Hail Marys, Saturday morning, there's a little game that's going to kick off at 10 a.m. What do you expect in a rematch? How different will the rematch be than the first game?
So,
or how similar?
I've been thinking about this a lot. Number one, LJ Martin was not healthy at all. In fact, in that game, I think he played for his teammates. I don't think he should have played. I don't think he could run the way that he could run in that game. I think that's going to be a difference. BYU simply cannot have 67 yards rushing again and win this game on Saturday. They've got to establish some sort of a run game, some sort of ability to hit some seams, and they've got to come off ready to go on the offensive and defensive lines if they're going to pull off the win in this game. Now, I do think that psychologically it's really, really hard to win 2 games in a row against the same team. So I think that bodes well for BYU. They've got to establish some sort of run game like I was talking about. And then, they've averaged almost 200 yards a game rushing during the year. To have 67, they've got to double 67. They've got to be in the 125 to 150 yard range in rushing. And then in the passing game, they had about 180, and he's been averaging about 220. I think he's got to be at least at his average or maybe a little bit more in the passing game. And then Chase Roberts, Parker Kingston, Cody Hagan, I really feel like wide receivers, when it comes to football, they're kind of like dunkers in basketball or three-point shooters in basketball, where if they can make a big play or if they can make some sort of, play that has a lot of heart in it or a big catch, that can be something that swings momentum BYU's way. And so look for those guys. They didn't make the normal plays that they made all year long in that Texas Tech game. And so look for BYU to try and get those guys going a little bit early, try and get LJ Martin going a little bit early and see if they can't, break through with some individual plays that really build momentum and confidence for BYU to start the game.
So the Devils beat them, the only team to administer a loss to Texas Tech. If you were an offensive coordinator, the statistics that they had offensively were better than anybody else had all season because the Tech defense was really dominant. How much would you look to see? Could you possibly recreate what ASU did in order to win that game a couple of weeks back or several weeks back?
Oh, I think you look at that statistically and you're like, okay, what did they see? What was the timing of what they called? Why were they able to move the ball? I think part of it was because of Sam Levitt. I mean, he's a really, really good player. I also think there were some looks that Texas Tech threw at Bear Bachmeier that was the first time that he was really challenged as a freshman, where he looked a little bit confused. I can remember him looking at the little iPad and asking a lot of questions. I think he's going to be a lot more prepared this week than maybe he was in that game. They threw some looks at him that I know confused him, and there was parts of the game, and I don't think this is a bad thing, and I don't think that I'm being critical here, but there were parts of the game where Aaron Roddick was actually telling him where to throw the ball. And that becomes really, really hard on an offensive coordinator, because if you have to tell the quarterback where to throw the ball, you better be right. And Bear was enough confused in that game that Aaron just said, okay, we're going to run this play, you're going to look it off, and you're going to throw the dig right here, and it's going to be open. And there were some times where it was open, and there were some times where it wasn't. But that's what they had to resort to pass the ball. And so I think Bear will be much more prepared mentally that this team can do some different things. And I feel like Bear is a really, really intelligent quarterback who wants to learn, and I think because of that, he's going to be more prepared for this game. Now, I'm not necessarily predicting a win for BYU. I really hope that they do, because I think it's the only way that they get into the playoff. But they are going to play much better in this game than the 27-9 result of the first game.
That game was November 8th. Think back to your playing days. And maybe it's different now. Maybe there's so much more video now. But
October?
How much?
What game are you talking about?
November 8th, Texas Tech, BYU.
Oh, you're talking. I thought you were about the ASU game.
How much can you improve as a football player in a month, especially a quarterback?
Well, I think he has improved. I mean, over the year. I mean, you just think about his first three games compared to the way that he's playing now. He's improved a ton. I think the biggest thing that could be a possibility is to like how he feels. I don't know how he's been banged up all year. He plays a pretty physical game. My guess is that he's a little bit more healthy, and when you get more healthy as a quarterback, it can really improve your game. And so I think he's probably in a rhythm. I think he also knows a little bit more what to look for. And this will be an interesting step in his growth, because Like I said, playing a team for the second time is difficult, but it's also going to be really, really important to his progress that he's ready for the different scenarios that Texas Tech threw against him, for the different scenarios that maybe Arizona State was able to be successful in. And so I think I do think you can improve every single week. It may not be in the yardage or in the stats, but it might be in third downs or in the red zone that he's a little bit more efficient, and that can be really, really big when it comes to the games.
Yeah, the thing that I want to see is them take shots because they're a double-digit underdog, and I felt like it was a little on the conservative side. Let's play not to make a mistake on offense, and I don't know if you can do that. I think you're going to have to just be aggressive, and if you make mistakes, well, maybe you're going to lose anyway, but in my mind, go down. If you're going to go down in a more aggressive fashion than what we saw the first game.
That really surprises me, coming from you, that you think that you should go down swinging.
Yeah, I'm 100% with him.
I have a feeling.
I'm 100% with him, Riley. I mean, you're not going to drive 12 plays on these guys. They're really good. So when you get a chance to make a big play, go for it.
No, I agree. I'm just saying, if there's anything I know about Patrick
Kinahan, right? Yeah.
He's going to be scratching the inside of his coffin. He's going to be so upset that he's passing away on us. But I totally agree with you. They got to take the shots. I think they're going to be able to take a few more shots because LJ is more. He is so much more healthy at this point than when they played the first time. And I think that just sets up some of the play action and some of the things that you want to do when you want to take shots downfield. So yes, I think that's what I was hinting at a little bit when I was talking about the receivers being big play receivers and making big plays. They've got to take those shots and they've got to land a few of them, right? And I think that can really change the momentum of a game and the confidence of a team when your wide receivers are making plays like that. So it's going to be interesting. I agree. You need to be a little bit more aggressive. I totally agree with you guys that they buttoned down the hatch a little bit and they were playing a little bit safe in that first game. And I really don't think they have anything to lose.
Right.
I mean, I think they know win and you're in, lose and you're out. I mean, I think that's the way that it looks right now. So you might as well go for it.
Yeah.
Riley, we appreciate the time as always. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the games, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, guys. Love being on the show. Thank you.
Riley Jensen, former Aggie quarterback, joined us right here on the Zone. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Tim Brando joins us. Top of the hour, we will talk with the longtime college football broadcaster, currently with Fox Sports. You see him calling games. We'll talk with him about the college football playoff, the Utes at 15, the Cougars at 11, and, man, there are all kinds of inconsistencies and things that are irritating schools all over the place.
Oh, I think he is going to be, as they say, on fire. Tim Brando, right?
Top of the hour.
You think he's any relation to Marlon?
No.
Oh, okay.
Hadn't really occurred to me, so I never thought that. Now that you mention it, we'd better check that out and ask him. Seventh cousin, 3 times removed.
I never understood that.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Since the game went final in Lubbock, touchdown, Parker Kingston! The Cougars have wanted a rematch with the Red Raiders. Now they've got it, with a guaranteed spot in the college football playoff on the line. Listen all week long for the best coverage of BYU in the Big 12 title game, with exclusive interviews and analysis you won't get anywhere else. Then, on Saturday, catch a special Big 12 title game edition of College Football Game Day beginning at 8 a.m. with a post-game show immediately following a game. Exclusive Big 12 title game coverage on The Zone is presented by JCW's, The Burger Boys, quality and a lot of it. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
We told you earlier in the show, it's a Win Tickets Wednesday. We got tickets to Aerofest 2026 featuring Styx and Chicago. It's at the Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater, August 30th. Caller 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE will win the tickets. Caller 12, 801-575-ZONE, and you're headed to Aerofest 2026.
Would you say that hug was like close to 4 minutes with Kalani?
No.
Longer?
No, I'd put it about minute 47.
No. Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I went to the bathroom and I came back and you were still embracing.
Well, then it was at least 20 minutes because every one of your trips to the bathroom. If you say at 10 o'clock I'm going to the bathroom, Yak and I know we're not seeing you
Yeah,
till
but that's
10:20.
different. There's different types of things there that you do. So, no, this was a quick one. And I asked Yak, and is the bathroom open? Remember I asked you? Yeah. I went downstairs, boom, I came back, you were still embracing. And little did we know that you were just ahead of your time because it is National Let's Hug Day today.
We discussed that.
Have you ever hugged another man longer than you hugged Kalani?
None of your business.
Oh man, a little. I'm all for the bro hug, but I just thought it was excessive.
Well, it was story time too. So.
Yeah, but so you can't tell a story without hugging?
It wasn't a story I wanted to tell very loudly.
Okay, you couldn't have whispered?
I did.
You had to embrace?
Yes. Held them in close while I whispered that story.
It's good to see you two come together because I knew there'd been some friction there.
There really hadn't been. Really had been no contact at all. Occasional wave at practice or whatever. I hadn't talked to him in a while.
What a grand day for BYU. Now, if they pull this off Saturday,
that's a grander day.
This will be the best week in BYU football history.
That'd be a spectacular week.
Yeah.
Punch the ticket. Because the rankings came out, and it's kind of an afterthought. I mean, didn't you? Neither one of us are gamblers, but if we were, wouldn't you have bet a large portion of? I would have bet a large portion of your paycheck that they were going to be 11.
Well, I didn't even look at it. It was of no interest to me.
Yeah, Yak told me. He leaned over. They're at 11.
Yeah,
there you go.
No, but the prior weeks I literally watched it live.
There were people who thought they were going to go to 12.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
Nobody
thought they were going to 10, and they didn't.
That's semantics at this point. So yeah, I don't fully understand it, but nevertheless, this is a reality. I can bang my head against the wall. There's nothing that I can do about it, so it seems pointless. I've said my piece on it, and that hasn't changed. Right?
Nothing's changing.
Right. So with that in mind, at least they have a clear idea of what needs to be done for postseason or playoff aspirations. There should be zero confusion now. I think both of them should be in. But I'm a big, I got Big 12 bias.
Yeah.
And
they didn't get the normal amount of chaos. We talked week one that the path was there, and there was a path, but the top 10 teams this year are 33-4. They just keep winning. So there's no movement. And
well, I think you had the movement that you would have needed was Alabama beating Oklahoma.
That would have been huge.
And I remember watching that game, having the interest from the Big 12 / BYU perspective, is that I found myself the rare moment of rooting for Alabama. Not that I root against them, but actually rooting for them because I thought, that could have flipped it a little bit.
We knew when we were talking about it when the Notre Dame USC game happened that Big 12 teams needed USC to beat Notre Dame because Notre Dame would probably win out if they didn't lose that game. And sure enough, they just torched people down the stretch.
Yeah, but I didn't know at that point that BYU was going to continue to win.
No, we didn't know. I mean, it's early. But nonetheless,
clear a picture as it was in that other game.
Notre Dame was climbing and moving into position, and it was clear that they were going to win out, and they did.
Right. And I don't necessarily have a problem with that because they go on the quality of your losses and the quality of your wins, and they've got both. They don't have a lot.
They don't have quality of wins.
Yeah, sure they do. They just said they beat SC.
That's quality of win.
Okay, but they beat Pittsburgh.
Over a winning team, they
threw 70 on Syracuse.
Yeah.
And if you beat somebody 70-7,
you get points for it.
And,
you get points
and
for it.
And it's not like they're a lower level team, an NAIA team or what have you. That
they're
sometimes
a Power
we see
4
in
team.
basketball.
They're a bad Power 4 team, but they're a Power 4 team nonetheless.
Yeah. So, I think they do have quality wins. And the thing about it is, unless you're in the SEC, hardly anybody has wins extended beyond 2.
True story.
Yeah.
With the SEC being the ranked teams, being so many of the ranked teams, don't, in these big leagues, you don't get to play a lot of ranked teams. Your league doesn't have that many, and you're going to miss some of them.
I do think, yes, because of the number of teams in the league,
Right.
the expansion that's taking place. I do think, though, things should be revisited sometimes. And what I mean by that is the Cougs are getting no bump for beating Arizona, because it was a slow climb for Arizona to be considered a nationally ranked team. And now they are. And they should be at 9-3. I'm fine with it. But it's like they got no buzz because nobody was talking about Arizona at the time. And that seems a little unfair.
That part is true. They do get credit for it because now they sit down and they look at, okay, how many ranked teams did you beat, or how many teams you beat with 8 wins or with winning records. I mean, they have those stats. So they are, in that regard, they're getting credit for it. Now,
not enough.
in the discussion, in the public square or whatever, nobody's talking about it. Whereas people are looking at Texas like, well, they got a quality win against A&M. And when you're having that discussion, nobody says, BYU got one against Arizona. That doesn't happen.
And I think a large portion of it is the start of the rankings that come out in August. And you're basing it on a lot of who's back from last year. And
Last year, coach, coordinator, quarterback.
And the Cats sucked last year.
Yeah.
So they didn't. They were a surprise team. And they took a long time to get where they got any form of attention. And, it seems like if BYU would have beaten Arizona last week, it would have been a much bigger deal than beating them in October. October 11th, I think it was, the day after Kalani turned 50. And so that's kind of screwy.
From the public perception, absolutely.
Yeah. And perception
is governing a lot of this.
Is a major factor in these things. And it's also, too, I've accepted this a long time ago, which is why I don't get caught up in winning and losing. I've accepted that college football is nothing more than entertainment. This is not the Olympics here where you line up and the person who crosses the tape first gets the gold medal. That doesn't really apply here.
No, and it's not just a BYU or Utah or a Big 12 thing. I think the people...
it's a sport thing.
It's a sport thing, right.
And Notre Dame has way more rep, and more people want to watch Notre Dame than they want to watch BYU or Arizona or whomever.
I think even Notre Dame fans are feeling put off by the fact that Notre Dame crushed Stanford and Alabama squeaked past Auburn, and somehow Alabama moves up past Notre Dame.
That doesn't matter.
If there's an upset, Notre Dame's now positioned to get knocked out. Now, maybe there won't be an upset so they can stay in, but...
You said positioned. You went on an assumption. So even if there's an upset, Notre Dame, because of its massive fan base, worldwide, nationwide, this is a TV show, and I figured that out a long time ago, and that's why I think I have sports. I don't need a tragedy to have somebody say, "Oh, now we put the games in perspective." No, the games have been in perspective for me for many, many years, decades. It's a TV show. One team wins, one team loses, and then we go on with life. And with that in mind, TV ratings and who the TV people who have powerful influences in the brackets want in are going to have a say, even though they shouldn't. And that's why I sort of blow it off. And that's why I'm thinking for Utah, 10-2, massive season, bravo. And so you have to go to the Las Vegas Bowl, and maybe a lot of your seniors or juniors are going to go pro, aren't going to play. Okay, fine. All right. Whoop-de-doo. It's just it doesn't matter that way because it is a TV show. Once you turn on the television, you're inviting entertainment, and ratings matter, and paychecks and all that stuff, because ratings are another word for money.
Fact.
Yes.
They can be translated to money pretty quickly and pretty effectively.
Well, it's a direct line.
There you go.
Right? Everything is, and it's all, a lot of it, the news these days, it's staged. And, when there's a sad story, you got to lower your voice. And when there's a hot, peppy story, smile away. They're all actors now.
Yay.
How you look. You have to get a haircut every third week so it doesn't look you got like, what the heck does it have to do with sports journalism?
Nothing.
But yet it does.
Yes, it does.
And I don't deny it. I think it's ridiculous.
Don't get your hair cut and wait to see how long it is before somebody says something to you. Or not just the haircut, the color of your hair. I know people who've been told they have to dye their hair, and then they didn't. Make me. You would have loved it. It was right in the middle. It was very contentious. You'd have loved it.
And that matters on where journalism is now entertainment, which it never used to be, but now it is. And so you have to have that. And it's translated into the world of sports. That's why we constantly get force-fed, what is LeBron doing today? I'm over it. I don't care.
Now we've crossed over into celebrity and how much celebrity moves the needle. And it absolutely moves the needle, depending on what your market is. And you know this because you lived in L.A., celebrity news, turned it on. That was what the local news became.
Yeah.
Because the issues that were affecting one community in Ventura, San Bernardino, Orange County, didn't affect the community in the other two places, and people wouldn't watch it. Celebrities tied them together, so they talked about celebrities a lot.
The bottom line, as Kyle Whittingham likes to say,
it's the bottom line,
is if BYU gets left out, it will suck. But I don't think that it's nothing that they did or didn't do. I believe they've done enough. Unless they get pasted a second time by Texas Tech, then they've opened themselves up to be excluded, and they were. But if they win, they're in, obviously. But if they lose a hard-fought game in which one team wins, one team loses, and they're still left out, that'll suck. But it's like you're not part of the cool kids in high school.
Totally believe that.
So you're not going to get invited to the party.
The SEC is going to get the benefit of the doubt. The Big 12 is not going to get the benefit of the doubt. We've talked about it all season. It hasn't changed. It's been super clear-cut the whole time. And within that, you're right about the individual brand. It's like, okay, who in the SEC gets the benefit of the doubt? Vanderbilt or Alabama? freaking Bama every day and twice on Saturday.
People want to watch them.
Yeah. Alabama's 10-2, they're 9th. Vandy's 10-2, they're 14th. Thanks for beating Tennessee.
At that point, if it happens, and obviously it's favored to happen, if I'm a BYU fan, I look back and say, hey, we went 11-2. We got a bowl game. We had so many good times this season. I enjoyed myself either at the stadium or sitting in front of the TV. We beat Utah. We did this. We did that. We had a freshman quarterback. Our coach turns down a legacy program to stay with us. I feel really good about being a BYU football fan. That's where I would end up. That would be my final analysis.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Tim Brando joins us at 9 o'clock, probably on fire. Fox Sports, voice of college football. We will talk with him about Kalani Sitake stayed at BYU and the playoff. Right, wrong, how would he change it? That's coming up. Stay with us.
Hey, bro. You hear us every day with our crazy opinions.
Hey, what you doing?
Well, now, it's time to hear from you.
Hey, great show.
Download the KSL Sports app and fire off your thoughts with the call-in tab on the bottom of your screen.
Your show is fantastic. It's the one that captivates me the most.
You can tell PK to stop singing.
G-Bang! G-Bang!
Let Jake and Ben know what you really think of the Jazz. Woo! Tell Hans and Scotty about your favorite barbecue spot or what color of tie JJ should be wearing on TV. The best entries will be played on the air. Download the KSL Sports app now and hit the call-in button to let your voice be heard.
I think you guys do an incredible job.
This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ PK, the Mr. Mac, Utah County High School Player of the Week, honors the top boys and girls prep basketball players each week during the high school basketball season. This week's winners, Michaela Boyer from Timotokis High and Jason Nielsen from the Utah Military Academy, Camp Williams. Boyer led the Timberwolves to a 3-0 start while averaging 24 points a game, and Nielsen has the Marauders off to a 3-1 start, averaging 21 points per game so far. The Utah County Player of the Week award, proudly presented by Mr. Mac. No one buys, no one sells, no one cares the way they do. Absolutely no one. DJ and PK, coming up, we got Tim Brando talking college football. Everything else seems to have stopped, PK. Everything else just comes to a screaming halt.
The axis has stopped spinning?
That's it.
Well, it is in our market.
It's all about Big 12 title game, Kalani, and I suppose the next story is Kyle. And what's he going to do? He's got a date in his contract coming up. He's supposed to notify the school by December 5th if he's going to step down, or will he return for one more year? And we got signing day going on. We're seeing guys sign. Most of this stuff, I think. Have you seen any surprises yet? It seems like mostly guys are going where we were told.
Day?
Yeah,
I
signing day.
I don't follow high school recruiting that much, so I wouldn't know who was committed where. I mean, I look at it to see who they are, but I don't know if somebody was committed to Arkansas State and now chose Ohio State. I couldn't tell you on that. And their stars and all that stuff. Well, let's see when they get here what they can do. But you've just pretty much announced that if Kyle comes back, he'll retire next year. Because you said if he comes back or if he comes back for one more year.
Well, I think it's a year at a time at this point.
Yeah, but you just said for one more year.
Well, let me clarify.
I want to know if you knew. You say something.
I don't know.
I value the words that come out of your mouth.
I do not know. I do not know what he will do. Perhaps he will change his mind. But I do think it's a year to
I understand that. Everybody's year to year when you think about it. But I didn't know if you knew that if he came back, then he would retire in 26.
Nope, I don't know that.
Oh, well, you said that.
Well, now I'm glad we've cleared that up.
I thought maybe you had information that he may have said, hey, if I come back, it'll only be for one more year. Because sometimes they do that. They say, I want to go one more. And they make that decision. We've seen that. That wouldn't be that uncommon. And in his situation, given his age, that would be fairly common. That's why I thought maybe he had said something that could possibly, hey, I might go one more year. You know, I wonder if if he would say that. If for argument's sake, say he comes back.
Okay.
And you got that deadline that he's supposed to tell the university. Could he? They say he could say, "I'm coming back, but I want to leave next year."
It has been done,
right? And I would think they would say, "Fine." I think they would actually like that. I don't know that they're bugged or irritated by the uncertainty, but I think they'd like to have a time. The problem is Kyle doesn't want any hubbub made about him, so they could keep it secret, and then Scally would know, okay, everything going forward beyond the 26th season, I'm the guy.
DJ PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Coming up next, Tim Brando, Fox Sports, joins us to talk college football playoff, what's right, what's wrong, where he thinks the Cougars should be, where he thinks the youth should be, how is the Big 12 getting treated. That's all next. Stay with us. DJ PK, a reminder, you can experience holiday lights at the ballpark at America First Square. Dazzling displays, music, and family fun now through January 3rd. Get your tickets at the ballpark at afs.com. How many championship football games are you going to watch this weekend? They've really taken over Friday night as well. So
it'll be hard for me because I'll be at one.
A little bit of intrigue. You'll be in Dallas, so that'll limit.
Yes. So who's the middle one?
The middle game,
because I'll be working at that point,
is the SEC game, Georgia and Alabama.
And then what's the later one?
Primetime, Indiana and Ohio State, and Duke and Virginia.
Okay, well, I'll be either at a sports bar or sitting in my hotel room at that point.
Either getting dinner.
Yeah.
But either way.
Right.
Indiana, Ohio State, battle of undefeateds. I find that intriguing, although obviously they're both going off to the playoff anyway. So,
you know what it reminds me
CD's
of when they first introduced the wild card in baseball, and it was like the last 3 games, and it was like the big pennant stretch. And I think it was the Padres and Dodgers.
Yeah,
and both teams were in, and like in the 5th inning, they subbed like it was a spring training game. Like, I'm not used to this.
The Padres swept the series and won the division, and everybody went to the playoffs, and it was like, okay.
Right.
it was odd.
Right.
It was like, beat the Dodgers, which when I was a kid growing up, the only thing bigger than that was when the Raiders came to town. It was huge, but it was like it was the biggest thing that didn't matter that much.
Right, and they started subbing, and I felt like I was back home at Scottsdale Stadium or wherever.
Watching a spring training
and
game.
They got their couple of at-bats and then go jog and run and go play golf.
I can't imagine that 7-5 Duke is going to be 10-2 Virginia and then not be ranked, and they're going to be 2 G5 teams getting in front of Duke.
Well, you know, I kind of would like to have that happen, though, because wouldn't that lead to maybe some more change? Now, maybe some more change that is negative towards the G5.
I think it would absolutely lead to more change. I think it would lead to a change in the way tiebreakers are done. I think multiple leagues are looking at it and thinking we should just go to the highest ranked teams and give ourselves the best chance at either getting into the playoff or getting a first round home game or getting a bye, whatever it is. I think that the fact that tiebreakers could have been a massive factor in the Big 12, but they narrowly averted it. They were a year ago. The Mountain West has a massive tiebreaker with 4 teams, the ACC with 5. I can see all these leagues switching their tiebreakers. And then I think to your point about does this playoff go to 14, 16, 24 teams? Yeah, that too. I can absolutely see that happening. I mean, we have to wait for the Big Ten and the SC to stop wrestling with each other.
But there may be so many public outcries that they just say, oh, the heck with it, let's just do it, get these people off our backs. We're going to have our teams in. We're going to still win. We're going to roll in the money.
So now, if you put in, you're moving the bag back at first. We've already seen it going from 2 to 4 to 12. We're still having arguments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was 2 versus 3. It was 4 versus 5. And now it's 8, 9, 10 versus 11, 12, and 13.
But those legitimate arguments.
BYU, Miami, Texas, Vanderbilt, if there were 4 more bids, I assume those are the 4 who would get in. Those are the next 4. So then you'd have Utah, USC screaming, hey!
Only you'd have them screaming if somebody in their category got in. Why not us? That would have to happen because that's the deal with 12 right now and BYU being left out. You're having teams in their category get in and you're not. And what did you do? What Larry Johnson did that Karen Malone have not did. And so that's a real argument. It would have to be if somebody got in over you.
Why is 3-loss Texas getting in over 2-loss Utah?
Right. And then at that point, but I think the argument today is far more legitimate when it was 2 or 4. Because once you went down that road, you knew that you were inviting all sorts of controversy. It was going to happen every single year. This one here, we thought maybe it would smooth it out a little. Well, now we're finding out, no. We moved the bag back 2 feet, and we still have.
And we still have a bang-bang play at first base.
Right.
If it were 4 teams, you'd have Ohio State and Indiana at 12-0, one of them about to be 12-1. The winner would obviously be in a 4-team tournament. Would the loser be in? You'd have a bunch of one-loss teams, Georgia, Texas Tech, Oregon, Ole Miss, A&M, although you'd only have Georgia and Texas Tech out of that group. And BYU, they're down so far, I didn't even see them. Though you have 6 teams at 11-1, 3 of them playing in championship games, and 3 of them not, if I'm doing that right.
Right, but it would be understood from BYU's perspective that you would have to go undefeated because we've already been there. And they knew.
You don't think in a 4-team playoff the Texas Tech BYU winner would be in? BYU wouldn't.
What do you mean
too
the
far
Texas
out.
Tech BYU winner?
In a Big 12 title game, you've got 6 teams at 11-1. Would the winner who got to 12-1 make a 4-team playoff? Or would they pass on a 12-1 Big 12 champ and put in an 11-1 team, Oregon, Ole Miss, A&M, who wasn't in their conference title game?
Yeah, I think there would be. But the point I was making is that those teams, when BYU was independent, it's like, okay, we have to go undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
That's why when they suffered a loss, it seemed like, well, what are we playing for?
Right.
So the parameters, even though they were not literal regulations and rules written on a piece of paper, it was understood, right? Here, we thought...
We thought 11-1 would get teams in.
Yeah.
Once it went to 12 teams.
Right.
And it did last year.
Right.
And we thought it would this year. I said it aloud on this show, and it's going to turn out to be wrong.
Most likely, yes. And so that's why I stand by my argument. The controversy and argument is louder now than it was when it was reduced teams getting in. And it, in my mind, and maybe this is off, but in my mind thinking, well, if you just move the bag back now we move it back 3 feet, then we're good.
Well, at some point there will be a big shrug of the shoulders like, you're 7-5. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah,
but we're already getting there. I mean, you got a 9-3 team arguing they should be in. And I can remember thinking, if you're a 2-loss team, you got to quit griping.
Well, I think they should argue. I think Sarkisian is doing the right thing for his program.
Oh, yeah, 100%. This is part of what he gets paid for.
Mm-hmm.
It is as much as it's his job to recruit a 5-star quarterback and then coach Arch Manning up. It's also his job to get out and advocate for his school. 100%.
He has valid points. Now, he's just overlooking the Florida loss.
Yeah. Well, he's overlooking the points that don't help him.
Right.
He's arguing his case. He's like a lawyer arguing his case.
And that's what's going to keep him out.
Yeah.
If they're out. Whereas they've had some seriously quality wins here.
No question. Totally agree.
And the problem is, and he's had the big time quality loss, and they're getting credit, and I think they should get credit for playing Ohio State.
Can't ding them for it. We all want to see big games. We can't penalize people for big games.
Right. I was in L.A. at that time, and I'm walking. We park up by Sepulveda, walk down to Hermosa, and you've been there, and they closed off that street years ago, and now all those bars came onto the street, so they have outside seating, and you could hear the screams. Before you could see it, you could hear it. And my buddy's with me, and he says, "Oh, what's that?" And I said, "That is either a Texas fan bar or Ohio State fan bar."
And something just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, I hate Ohio State, so I hope it's the burnt orange that I see. And sure enough, when I got in vision, it was red.
It was Ohio State.
Yeah.
That 14-7 game, Texas offense looks terrible. Arch Manning looks terrible. And now you look at their whole season, and that is hands down the closest game they played. 7-point game.
Right.
And Illinois was 18. Washington was 18. The Michigan game, ironically, was 18. They played a lot of 18-point games. It's an unusual number, but there you go.
And I'm
Nobody else has come
conflicted
closer.
on college football. It's still screwed up because you should allow teams to develop and progress and get better.
So they're credited for the early season wins, but they don't have the early season wins devalued, and then if they won't play you, you're just not good enough.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have put 5 other things on there, and I would have to say, yeah, I get it. You want the best teams. And can I argue that Notre Dame is among the best teams right now, even though they had the 0-2 start, which was by a total of 4 points?
Yes. Miami was 3, and it was a 1-point game with A&M.
And I heard somebody say, well, if you remember that A&M, that last touchdown, I think the linebacker for Notre Dame was a flagrant holding call that they swallowed the whistle. So you got on and on. Your head spins on all these things and all these what ifs and who knows, blah, blah, blah. And in the end, not necessarily the little guy, but the smaller guy is going to get hosed. And that's what we're going to see with BYU. They're not the little guy. They're the smaller guy compared to these other programs.
That's all true. These 1- and 2-loss teams that aren't getting in. I mean, Texas is a massive name, but they got 3 losses.
Right.
The 1- and 2-loss teams that aren't getting in. Notre Dame's a bigger brand than BYU. Alabama's bigger than Miami. Oklahoma's bigger than Vanderbilt.
And see, that's why I don't think it's specifically the conferences. Yeah. Although it is, I don't deny it. Well, but I think it's more about the brand than the conference.
The brand of a handful of schools is driving the brand of the conference. So it gets a little convoluted and hard to pull apart.
The brands
you want to have
are
both.
the conference.
Yeah, you want to have both. And Oklahoma has both. We're Oklahoma and we're in the SEC.
You don't need both. Notre Dame doesn't need both. That's why they've never joined.
Okay, well, they just fell behind Alabama and they're nervous. You're not, but I think they are. And I think they felt like it was unjust that they fell behind Alabama. Okay, but how do I argue with
something you assigned them? I mean, so you think so.
No, I know so.
All right, you got me there.
Thank you.
You talked to Father or whomever.
I did. Father Notre Dame. And Brother Irish.
And so and maybe you'll end up being right. We shall see. But I really believe it's the brands. And I'm somewhat conflicted because these brands, by and large, have been earned. You know, why couldn't...
But the playoff is for this year, and so someone was good in 2007.
Yeah. 1967.
Yeah, for Notre Dame, 1920 and 30, whatever. Yeah.
I mean, why... I don't know why Michigan is a bigger brand than Michigan State, but I just know it is. I don't know. I wasn't even born when that thing was developing into we're a bigger brand. It's us and Ohio State. You know, why wasn't it the University of Cincinnati? Why couldn't they have been Ohio State? I don't know. How did Ohio State become Ohio State back when it was in the process of Woody Hayes? And we're going back 50, 60, 70 years.
Right.
How did that happen? So in a sense, they've earned it, but you're right. What you did historically
what you did
should
10,
have little
25,
effect on
50,
2025, but yet it does.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's ever going to be fixed. So I'm going to knock my head against the wall.
Oh, I can answer that. It is not going to be fixed.
And that kind of stinks.
It gets fixed if your team gets over the line and gets in. But even then, because they're starting to go to this uneven revenue sharing, so even if you get into one of these leagues, Ohio State and Alabama are going to get more money than your school.
Yeah, okay, that's just from television, though. Is Oregon really suffering that they're only getting a half share in the Big Ten?
Do you get lucky and have some gazillionaire in your backyard getting some company that blows up and they write checks to support your program?
And that's why they give them headphones so you can sit there and listen to the plays in the press box and all the stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically you just look at what Oregon did, and so Oklahoma State copied it, and now Texas Tech has copied it, and to a certain degree BYU is copying it. And as recently as that press conference last night, go find your own billionaire.
Right.
San Diego State, we haven't found a billionaire yet. UC Santa Barbara, still working on a billionaire. ASU, seems like you guys ought to find a billionaire somewhere in the desert. It's got to happen.
Well, I was hoping Jimmy Kimmel and David Spade would do it.
Not yet.
Or, let's see, some other famous grads.
They got TV money. You need movie star money instead of famous.
Al Michaels.
Al Michaels.
David Spade's not a movie star?
I mean, he's done movies, yeah. I mean, I think of him more for SNL. But yeah, he has done movies. He's got some movie money, for sure.
Come on, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it takes. That's what Dillingham's been talking about. He said, we've got plenty of support from the Valley, but we need...
Deep, deep pockets.
We need the sugar daddy.
Yeah.
And that hasn't come forward. But did it come forward for Notre Dame and Ohio State in the 60s?
No, I think the advantages were different then. Maybe one of the advantages then in the 60s and 70s was the NCAA had the TV contract. There was only 1 or 2 games on a day, which seems like completely in the dark ages, but that's what it was when we grew up. And
that's one of the reasons I wasn't into college football.
And their schools got picked, and your school doesn't.
Okay, but why did Michigan get picked over Michigan State? I don't understand it. What made Michigan, and not that Michigan State's bad, but it's not Michigan.
Michigan played in the first Rose Bowl. I don't know. Why was Michigan in 1900? I don't know the answer to that.
Right.
In the early days. Notre Dame, Knute Rockne flying all over the place.
I get Notre Dame.
Right.
It speaks for itself.
USC was willing to travel early on and go back and play games, and maybe that was a big factor. Football, I don't know, baseball was the pastime. I wonder if football was just bigger some places in the first half of the 20th century.
Okay, but why would it be bigger in Southern California? That doesn't make any sense.
No, I think that's like Notre Dame, just a lot of people. Notre Dame because of religion, USC because of location.
Okay, but
we both know lots of people who root for USC who never went to USC.
And I hate every one of them.
I know, but there's a gazillion of them. And then they get star players and it flashes and they capture the imagination.
But less than 10 miles away was another institution. Why didn't they do it?
Yeah, and never underestimate hate watching. Never, people, so many people watch Cowboy games. Yeah, and a lot of them are rooting against them. But back to your point it's all a show and it's for money, and as long as people are watching, and TV executives don't care if you're rooting for a team or against them.
And who coined America's team for the Cowboys?
Yeah, I don't know. But well done.
Why have they been able to sustain that?
When the results on the field haven't matched. I do think part of it was when they did the realignment and all that, Dallas insisted on and got to stay in the NFC East twice.
Well, that was true.
And so there's a ton of people who will hate watch in New York and in Philly and in Washington.
I don't even know. I watched, but
yeah, you're not wired right though. But you know what I'm getting at. All those belligerent fans in Philadelphia and in New York you always talk about. They got fired up to watch the Cowboys lose.
Yeah, but I watched growing up.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
I watched. I
didn't root for them to win or lose. But I wanted to watch them because you're supposed to watch them. I'm an NFL football fan. The Cowboys are on.
I can remember when I first started doing this, and I had to call a UC Santa Barbara game, and for some reason, UC Santa Barbara to Eastern Washington on a Sunday, and it's when the Cowboys and Giants were big, and there was some game, and I'm thinking I'm calling this basketball game in front of about 57 people in this gym. It snowed. There was nobody there, and I'm missing this massive NFC East matchup. And I grew up in San Diego. Why do I care? Because I wanted to do it.
Then why'd you quit?
Quit what?
Well, you wanted to do it, and I said, why didn't you quit?
Oh, I thought you said quit to watch the football game?
Right. Why didn't you quit?
I didn't quit to watch the football game.
You said you wanted to do it.
I did.
Well, then you did quit. So you no longer wanted to do it?
I realized that I couldn't make a living in Santa Barbara. I was getting to the point in my life where I was going to have to move somewhere else. Didn't pay well enough. When I was young and single and straight out of college, it worked, but
so you
wasn't going to get the house and the picket fence.
Yak, we just discovered again, it was money driven.
Wow, I changed jobs for money.
You
what a
and I
shock.
were
Welcome
able.
to America.
We wanted to go in a community where we could be happy and survive and thrive, and the money was secondary, but not for money bags. That's why
Paycheck is why I live in Utah.
Yeah, that's why you are where you are. I live in Utah for the beauty, the scenic, the people, the passion.
I've lived in Utah too long. I don't know what to tell you.
I haven't lived in Utah long enough. I hope I have another 25 years, knock on wood.
You saved the school $600,000? $600,000.
Wow. Yeah, do you have to push a button for each one of these? If you finally just add them all together,
I have
play
buttons
one
for
after
each
another.
one of them. I should just marry them all together.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Who were you saving? Who saved $600,000?
I don't remember the company. It was a sponsor.
Right, it was just a transaction for you. It's not like you really cared.
Yeah. Oh no, I did care. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking like, how many of whatever it is they sold did they have to sell to make up for the $600,000? I was trying to do math, and my brain just locked up.
See,
Sex sells, PK.
Jay Brooks loves you.
Sex sells, PK.
And has no time for me, but really, I'm the one who loves Jay Brooks more than you. It's just a transactional relationship.
That might well be true. You should tell him.
PK, you complete me.
Oh, he knows that. I've told him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I say, no, let DJ do it. His ego would be hurt. And then he needs the well, he didn't need the money. He just wants the money. Where I'm fine with meager means, no problem.
I'm too into myself to be annoyed by other people. You are such a liar.
Keeps me humble.
You are such a liar.
I'm not a liar.
I got a big TV. You are a total liar.
You got a big TV. What did he say, Yak?
Liar. Total liar.
I got a big
Yuck,
TV.
you're working too hard. You just have to edit these all together.
Who
I don't know
brags
what
about
you're
the
thinking.
size of their television?
Somebody's
Do you have
comparing
the
it to
biggest
their
dog on
little
the
phone.
block, too?
No, I do not.
What
know you're
happens
talking about.
first? Look into your crystal balls.
Pardon?
That was one of the better ones I walked into right there.
You passive-aggressive little punks.
And that was Scotty and Bagley?
It was definitely Scotty. I'm not sure who he was on the air with at that time, but I'm pretty sure that was Scotty. Scotty would remember.
Yeah, at the time, I wouldn't have called him little.
Oh, wow.
He's little now.
Little now.
I just have gender identification issues.
I just mentioned this. The Dallas Cowboys Kansas City Chiefs game on Thanksgiving drew a massive 57 million viewers, shattering the record for the most watched NFL regular season game in history.
Well, isn't that why they play on that day?
It's why they play on that day. There's more people in the country now than there were, years ago.
Yeah, I
so there's
understand
more people who can watch. They're also counting it differently. They're doing a better job of people.
But relatively speaking,
but it's a massive number.
I wouldn't
for
know
all
what to do if I didn't have Cowboy football at 3:00 on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
I gotta have it.
Detroit in the morning, Cowboys in the afternoon, and it's been like 25 years now, I think. They put a primetime game on that rotates every year.
I can live without that, but I gotta have Cowboys in the afternoon. And
it's like setting your body clock by it. Is that in the Rose Bowl?
100%. And I actually I told my wife, I said, on the Wednesday, I said, I feel like texting DJ. And she says, why? I said, because he's been advocating for football on that Wednesday. And since he's put it in my brain, I now want it.
Yeah. Mark Harlan was in the middle of an answer. You can, wherever you get your podcast, last time he was on, just search DJ PK Mark Harlan. In the middle, he was talking about working with the commissioner. Got to think outside the box. I think the commissioner called and said, what about a Wednesday night game?
Yes.
Now, he didn't say it, but reading between the lines, I don't think it was any Wednesday night game. I think he was calling Mark because he was wondering about BYU and Utah on Wednesday. Would it work in the community? Would people show up because you want the stadium full? I think it'd be awesome, too, as long as they give them a bye on the Saturday before.
Oh, of course.
I'm a big fan of that. But the NFL plays Sunday, Thursday. Would college play Saturday, Wednesday? I hope not. I don't like the NFL playing Sunday, Thursday. I do like what they're doing this Thursday. Since Dallas and Detroit have already played on the short week, they are playing each other Thursday. So this week, the Thursday game, they have a full week to prepare. Mm-hmm. So at least they're taking advantage of the fact that 6 NFL teams play on Thanksgiving now. 2 of those 6 always match up.
But I want football next Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And the only thing I would say is, don't let that game go to ESPN or FS1. That needs to be on ABC or Fox. Over the air, you're getting even more viewers, and that's what the Big 12 needs. They need to be able to say, look at the eyeballs.
I mean, with no football, I end up watching reruns of Roseanne.
You did not. You liar. Again. You've lied so many times.
No, but her sister-in-law was my attorney. That's a fact.
I agree with PK.
DJ PK, it's 97. It's funny, the most random sounding thing is actually one that's true. Yeah.
You don't really sound like a Debbie.
Oh, wow, old school right there. All right. Oh,
the worst insult ever on Salt Lake City Sports Airways.
Stepped in it so deep. The waiters just aren't. All right, DJ and PK. So there it is. We just tap dance for half an hour. No Tim Brando, huh? All right, Yak will try to track him down. DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Since the game went final in Lubbock. Touchdown! Parker Kingston! The Cougars have wanted a rematch with the Red Raiders. Now they've got it, with a guaranteed spot in the college football playoff on the line. Listen all week long for the best coverage of BYU in the Big 12 title game, with exclusive interviews and analysis you won't get anywhere else. Then, on Saturday, catch a special Big 12 title game edition of College Football Game Day beginning at 8 a.m. with a post-game show immediately following the game. Exclusive Big 12 title game coverage on The Zone is presented by JCW's, the Burger Boys, quality and a lot of it. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
DJ and PK, it is time for the Slacker Radio headlines. If you're just joining the show, 3.5 hours of quality radio. You miss so much. It's all brought to you right now by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan Wealth today, your local trusted financial fiduciary. Call them at 801-210-6800 or visit the website at TrajanWealth.com. Kalani Sitake gets a new contract. He gets the money that he wanted, that he thought he needed to stay. He gets money for his assistants, but when they say staff, that's more than just the assistant coaches these days. And he gets NIL money. Some of the national writers reported between 10 and 15 million more than they've got. Obviously, they have the house settlement money they're working with. So all in all, it seems like a banner day. It seems like a lot of the people, both on and off campus, investing in BYU football, which, given the new rules we're watching here, PK, is the only way to stay anywhere near the top of the game.
Most likely, unless you're pulling rabbits out of hats constantly. So, yeah, I'd agree with that. And facility upgrades. And although Kalani did say if you're choosing a program because of a locker room or a stadium, that seems pretty stupid. I agree on that.
He was talking about game day magic and creating that environment. And that's energy.
Important. That's extremely important.
So I wonder what kind of things the stadium might get. I mean, over time, that stadium has been dressed up multiple times in multiple ways. I don't know how many scoreboard, video screen updates it's been through, and light rings, and more premium seating. They've done all kinds of things.
I don't know exactly what they need. I personally don't care about it,
right.
So I don't pay a whole lot of attention to it. But yeah, it's the arms race has just never stopped in college sports, and it's actually escalated beyond probably our wildest dreams, and that's what we're dealt with. And BYU, this is an outstanding day in BYU football, or yesterday was, with them putting more emphasis and more commitments and more money into the game, into the team, into the program, and their coach saying, I believe what I could do at Penn State, I could do here. And that matters a lot. That's a powerful statement that he said.
Well, they earned it. I think 22-3 created all the energy and the emotion that led to this. And it takes those things. Without the energy and without the emotion, people aren't going to make the decisions they made. It's not easy to write the check some of these people are writing. Even if you got it, it's still an awfully big check to write.
Right. Texas Tech is now the, what's the phrase?
Standard.
I was thinking something fancier, but okay, that's a simple one.
The goal.
Like the bell cow or something.
The bell cow.
Yeah.
All right.
And so that means that you have to match it, or at least be competitive with it. Maybe you don't have to match it, because BYU still has things built in that nobody else in the conference has because of the religious affiliation. And for some kids and families, that means a whole heck of a lot.
How many people are going to show up for the Big 12 title game? And we'll talk about this more in the next couple of days. How many people are going to show up? Because BYU just didn't get that many seats at Texas Tech. I mean, there's a number, an allocation they have to provide. But the place is sold out with Texas Tech people. And that matters. I mean, we can see home and road records.
Yeah.
So now they both have to travel. BYU has to travel further. They're in a stadium that, if it doesn't seat 100,000, it's close to it.
Well, they said it's sold out, or it's going to be sold out.
I wonder how many of those fans are BYU fans. I mean, is it 60,000, 30,000, and then 90 grand in there, whatever it configures to?
So what do you mean?
How many BYU? 60,000 Tech fans, 30,000 BYU fans. Some of them are probably corporate tickets, so some people aren't.
Yeah. Hey, let's go to the game.
Yeah, well, and I mean, there are people in Dallas who may just drive over and just see a game because they love big-time football games. They may have bought their tickets long before they knew who's going to be in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there are corporations that advertise. You see their ads and their signage. They all have tickets. So there's some portion that's set aside. But nonetheless, I'm wondering what the crowd split will be and how much that'll help.
I would, if I'm BYU, I take 60-30 because 30 is plenty big enough. And if you
30 makes a lot of noise when you do something right.
Right. You got to do something right. And
get a sack, get a turnover, get a touchdown.
I always thought, to a large degree, that's what leads towards the animosity towards the Bleep You Mormons, is because I've been with BYU all over the country, and it's not so much here maybe in the conference because it's new, but in the old WAC and Mountain West, they expected it because they had it every other year.
And nobody likes to sit there, get beat up, and look over at all these visiting fans when other teams come to town and it's 100, 500, or 1,000.
Right.
And all of a sudden
family.
it's 10,000 people.
And you would go to a place like Georgia Tech, and they wouldn't expect it.
Yeah.
And
they didn't have to put up with it every 2 years or every year in basketball.
Right. Yeah. And I can remember, I think it was Val Hale who told me this story. They would play the Rose Bowl against the Bruins a lot, and Mike Garrett was the AD at SC when they were running through the ex-player thing. They'd gotten past that. And he calls up whoever was the Guerrero, whoever's the AD for UC Los Angeles, and says, well, I noticed you got like 15,000 extra. And he says, well, yeah, don't you know? And he didn't know. And then they got SC on SC got BYU on the schedule.
Yeah, we had a bigger crowd because it was BYU fans.
Right. And down there, which is,
Well, I knew because I went to San Diego State games.
But I mean, there's tons of LDS people in Southern California.
Tons of Cougar
within
fans.
a 2-hour drive that they can get to. And I went to that game, and sure enough, the place had more, at like 76,000, more than they normally would draw outside of then their two rivals, Crosstown and Notre Dame. Those games are usually sold out. And I've covered when they've played the rivals when I've worked down there and Notre Dame, and those stadiums both were sold out. And then you see that many more fans. And that's not excusing the obscene language and the racial, prejudice or whatever you call it. But I think that's part of the reason is that they're taken aback. Wait a second, this is our stadium. But if you put 30,000 in the Cowboy Stadium and you make a good play, it'll seem like there's 100,000.
The limiting factor is on all these bowl games, playoff games, conference title games, NCAA basketball tournament, how many plane flights are there to the market? Now, there are a couple airports in Dallas and multiple airlines, so there's more seats, but there's only so many people who can fit on so many planes. And it's not really drivable.
That's why I'm chartering.
Now, good for you. There are people in Texas who can drive to the game.
I got in touch with John, and he said, I'll take you.
3 hours to Houston, 3 to San Antonio.
I mean, you were on the family plane. It's only right that I'm on the family plane.
I agree. Yeah. I'd like to see you do that.
Right.
If for no other reason than then you could stop whining about it.
I'll just move on to something else.
That's probably true, too. That will be interesting to see. We got a couple more days to talk about that.
I'm looking for a great atmosphere, and it's supposed to be sunny, so people should be outside and all. I understand last year it was pouring down rain when the Devils played Cyclones.
Texas weather through this time of year is all over the map. I mean, they dome it for a reason. I think we all remember Cotton Bowl stories if you're old enough. Joe Montana, was frozen and had to go have hot soup or something during the game and then come back out and lead the rally.
Well, who has cold soup? Is there such a thing as cold soup?
There is such a thing as cold soup.
Who the heck would have cold soup?
And it wasn't. Yeah,
it's the dumbest thing I ever heard of. Cold soup?
I didn't like it at all.
On a cold day? I'm going to eat cold soup?
I got to think what it's called. There's a word for it.
It's called stupid.
You were served it. Be polite. Okay.
Chicho here says it's gazpacho.
Yes. Chicho. Yeah.
Cold soup?
You can have mine. I'll pass on that.
I would chuck it down the drain if I ever got that. I'd say, hey, come over, take this back. This is cold.
Good shout out by Chicho. Well done, Chicho. All right, other stuff we've talked about. The hockey has not been going that well, PK. Will our Utah Mammoth turn things around after 4 straight losses and getting blown out in San Jose? I mean, most of the losses have been 1 goal. That thing got out of hand. They're in Anaheim tonight, 8 o'clock, right here on the Zone, 7 o'clock for the pregame.
I know, man. They got to get it going.
Yep.
What's wrong with your team?
College hoops, BYU and Cal Baptist tonight at the Delta Center. Utah lost to the Cal Golden Bears 79-72. Down 2 late. Down 3. They had 3s to tie, but couldn't get it done.
It's always tough to go on the road and beat an ACC team.
That was a really good take right up until the last 3 letters.
It's the truth.
It is, and it was proven again.
I've been in that arena.
I haven't. Yeah.
I can't think of what it's called now, but I've been in there several times.
Pavilion?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right, DJ and PK. Chris Paul sent home. Clippers are cutting ties. He's no longer with the team. They are 5-16. Nobody's happy, and he has a reputation for not being happy in the best of times. So, see if he lands somewhere else.
No wonder why I always liked him.
You were drawn to his unhappiness.
I like crankiness, yeah.
DJ PK, your feedback is coming up next. Stay with us.
And it's all over almost here.
Don't go nowhere.
You've been listening to The Zone for decades. Yes! But now you can watch the guys break down your favorite teams.
Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Catch the video stream of DJ and PK, Jake and Ben, Hanson, Scotty, and JJ and Alex right now at KSLSports.com or by searching KSL Sports on YouTube. Utah's best sports radio is on air, online, and on the KSL Sports app. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination to KSLSports.com/contest and listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week, sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals. Time for your feedback right now. And PK Hattie says, did the fans really think Kalani would leave? He's learned from Whit. You don't leave a good thing.
Man, I got guys saying they were thinking he was going.
I get the logic of don't leave a good thing. But the nature of college football, lots of people leave good things. We had multiple guys who've already left in this hiring cycle, who've left G5 programs where they're winning, where they're making very good money. Now, they're no longer making very good money. They're making great money. And they got another challenge, and they got another ladder another rung to climb on the ladder. What was that book Bronco told us about there earlier this week? The second mountain. At some point, climbing up the ladder doesn't look as good. You want to go do something different.
I think the question is, if BYU would have said, hey, we have what we have, you know it.
Then what does he do?
Yeah.
And how big is the gap?
No, I haven't.
And does he feel like he can win with what he has, given where the game is going?
I think the answer would be no. That doesn't mean he doesn't stay.
Well, off what you've told me, and off the body language of a few people who I saw there, which lines up with what you told me, because we drove down together and we were riding home talking about it, and I totally buy what you said about, well, you can share the quotes if you want. I don't want to steal your thunder. You're the one who got them.
Came right down to the buzzer.
Yeah.
They're not going to lie to me.
No. And also, the way they talked just in a brief interaction and down the hallway, totally, it looked like they were walking on air. They looked happy, like when you think something's not going to go your way and it's going to go the way you don't want, and then all of a sudden it goes the way you do want, and you get a rush out of it and you're thrilled, that's how that person was acting.
I think the emotion was relief.
I can see that.
Like, whew, glad this worked out. We didn't want this to happen. And Kalani made a joke about when it became public, he said he received a ton of response. He said one fan stood out by his car for 2 hours where he knows he parks, and he said his wife called him love bombs. And then I said to Brian Santiago, I said, and I've known him for a long time, I said, man, your butt was really on the line here. And he said, yeah, I know. Those love bombs that Kalani was talking about these last few days, I didn't get any.
He did not get any. He got obliterated on social media. Kalani was talking about how he got a lot of positivity on social media, and social media can be so negative and just such a downer and just and he's like, what if we talk to people, talk to each other like that all the time? And Santiago's over there, talk like that occasionally.
Yeah.
Because he was catching a lot of heat. And the thing is, and there are a lot of, just think about it. You don't even have to be on the inside. Just a lot of moving pieces had to fit, right? The AD's got to sign off on something. The president, the trustees, there's however many people in between the AD and the
church folks.
Yeah, lots of people have a say. Right? And then you've got a series of boosters who have to write checks, and they have to agree to write checks not just now, but into the future, or write an enormous check now that takes care of the future, or Venmo's. Venmo's like, well, that's got to be fraudulent. Rejected. Not putting that one through. And it all came together, and they got their guy. Which, when you're 22-3, you don't want to lose your guy, but no wonder Penn State came calling.
Oh, yeah. And he's had several calls, the last 2 years.
Kalani's leash just got really short, in my opinion. The leash was already short. He had 1 5-7 season, and they were his butt was on the line.
He's a football coach at a place they want to win.
Yes, and if he'd taken the Penn State job, he would have had a short leash. Ask the guy who just got fired for a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, so sure.
Yes, I agree the leash is short, but since it was already short, take the money for you, take the money for your entire staff, and take the money for the players, and take the money for the facilities in the program.
I expect big things out of this program. I think it's under Kalani in the Big 12, it's arrived.
Brandon, it's a huge deal. He's damn good at what he does, and players love him. So the happiness is high right now.
No, I would sign off on that.
Yeah.
The players, the people under him, which includes players, have a lot of love for the guy.
They revere the guy.
Yeah. I'm confident in saying that.
Those two players, they brought up Tanner Wall and they brought up Chase Roberts. And those two players went up there, and their body language was like, we can't wait to get at this.
Yeah, and two guys out the door, by the way.
Right.
This is it.
I got something to say.
They got 2 games,
yeah.
or maybe more if they get in the playoffs.
They waited over on the side off to our left.
Yeah.
But when they were finally brought up, man, it's like when they walked over, you could just see the purpose in their stride. This wasn't a, come on over, or I have to do this, or I have to. No, I've got something to say.
Yeah, and I think Chase Roberts said it well, and I'm not even coming back. And this is something I desperately wanted.
Yep. Now, having said that, all this happiness and all that, it all comes down to winning. Mike Tomlin's had an awesome run in Steeler in Pittsburgh, and he's never had a losing season. Steeler fans are booing because they want playoff wins, and they're not getting them. And they've been searching for a quarterback since, not only since Roethlisberger left, but even the last couple of years he was there. He wasn't playing up to the level he'd played before. Father Time is undefeated.
Yeah, I think
those fans are booing.
They can withstand an 8-win season, and there wouldn't be that much pressure. If 8 is the low mark,
you're in a pretty good spot.
I'll take it.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake is back, and Jake and Ben are next right here in the Zone.